does with her hands.
No.
What was that?
Booyakasha! Hey, everybody. Welcome to Go Live. A new and improved version of Go Live. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sauced right now. For the regulars out there, check out this new user interface. Or interface, not user interface, but dang! You see, you think GameOnDaily rests on its laurels, but no! Thank you so much for joining us. But if you're listening to us on Spotify and Apple Music and Google, whatever it is, thank you for listening in to what will be an epic, great show. It's going to be a dang show. Shout out to Asa, co-founder and co-host of GameOnDaily, who is navigating through our new user interface. Shout out to all the patrons and channel members down in the chat below. I can read their names like Dealer does, but I've only got enough copyright issues. But thank you so much for joining us. Asa, before I get into the guests, how are you? You look confused. You look terrified. You look scared. I can't tell, man.
I'm all of those things at once. For people wondering, the switch that I threw in that intro is absolutely fine because it was crap anyway, so it's fine. I don't like the switch. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully it's all going to go perfectly smoothly with all of our new fancy stuff.
Of course it will. With you manning the helm, how could it go wrong? How can it go wrong? I'm in tempting fate. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saturday evening talk show, wherever you are. It's probably afternoon, actually, for most of you, because you're in the United States. But thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be an epic show. Look at this dang panel returning guests who are ready to swim in the sauce. We're going to regulate my hype levels. I'm too hype right now. But this has been a big week for games. There could be some interesting topics, and these two guests have had their takes out there in the social media space. And one in particular, I'm really interested in Battlefield but we'll go into the topics later. But let me introduce, ladies and gentlemen, the person with the smooth caramel voice. Erica, for the win. How are you doing?
Hello. Hi. Well, it's good to be back. You had some smooth voices coming into this intro. I peeped that. I saw that. I heard that. I like the new additions. I'm just sad I wasn't able to give you like a intro video, to go along with what you guys were doing. But yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to be here. I always have a good time here. And I can't wait to talk about these topics.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. You'll source it up one way or the other. And you'll have another opportunity to go crazy like we would, why we did in our intro. But last but certainly not least is my brother from another mother. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most prominent Xbox... I can't talk. Content creators in the space. Ladies and gentlemen, Colt Eastwood. How you doing, man?
Also with a smooth, caramelic voice.
Caramelic.
That's a new one. I like that.
When you said that caramel voice, I'm like, he better not be talking about me, because I will. I'll make my way over to your house. Yeah. Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show. Asa, when you threw that switch, I was like, who's behind there to catch that thing?
It's a big man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
That's what Asa treats us like, his switch like anyway. But yeah, thank you so much.
No. To clarify, that was acting. I never actually play on the Switch.
That's so true. That is true. And actually, to start this off, because I know a lot of our viewers are more console, but PlayStation and Xbox centric, may not be massive Switch owners. But I want to start this topic off with a game that has been released, Metroid Dread. Sorry, Metroid Prime.
Not Prime.
Metroid Dread. Yeah, not Prime, unfortunately. And I wonder how many of you have actually played it. I know I have. Erica, have you played it? Please tell me you have. Yeah.
No, I actually had a situation,
What's the situation?
I saw Asa throwing the Switch like that. I almost did it. I lost my power cord, so I can't even stream it. My plan was to stream it last night, play it on day. So I'm kind of waiting to stream it. So I ordered a new power cord. It's coming tomorrow, so I'll probably start it tomorrow. But I am very excited. I'm a big Metroid fan. I want to. Yeah, so I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's good though, because I know for a fact these two are not playing Metroid Dread. I played it, and you're in for a treat. So, anyone in chat, do let me know in chat if you've played Metroid Dread. So, I'm new to the Metroid series, and this is really good.
Are you?
I'm very new to it. Yeah, I mean, I skimped on Prime. I watched my little brother play the whole thing, and I was a Halo head. I'm like, what is this? Like, you're going back to where you went before, and then and then, long story short, come to the future. I loved.
You're going back to where it's like a Metroidvania type game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. Like, what's this Metroidvania thing? And then when I fell in love with Ori, I came in and I was like, oh, so that's what it is. And Metroid Dread, like, is unique. It's really good, really polished. Like, I saw 2D side scroller, I thought, it's not gonna be like, what's it gonna be? But I want to really try Metroid Dread, and I tried it, and I've been playing it non-stop, and it's very smart, very intelligent.
You know what they didn't do, which I was really I didn't actually check this game out till this morning.
Yeah.
What they didn't do was the 2D pixel art thing that we've been seeing in a lot of these really popular games. They actually made this thing look fairly modern, but keeping to the original game. Now, Gaz, you're just getting into Metroid, but I played the original Metroid on the NES back in like '88, and that game's difficult. Yeah, you can roll into a ball and roll under real small spots. I didn't play it very much, but it was like one of the original challenging games of the NES era. So shout out to anybody in the chat who's played. If you're there in the chat, hit the like button for we got Erica and Asa and Gaz here on my show.
Yeah.
No, hit
It's
the
your
like
show
button.
now.
Show your support. But
Yeah.
It is a classic callback. This looks like something I might actually play on Switch.
Honestly, Dread, Cole, please do play Dread. I think you'll find, like, what surprised me was how it's 2D, but it's 3D. It will switch very quickly. You go into a room, into a 3D like space, and a cutscene and a boss, and it does it so frequently. I'm like, oh my god, they can't keep going like this, and it does. And for someone who's new, this is like for me, when I first played Bloodborne, that was like my first Soulsborne game, and that's like, for me, is like, oh wow, that's a special place in my heart in gaming. Same thing is applying here with Metroid. Even though I've played Ori, this is like the first proper going back to the Metroidvania kind of universe, and for me, I'm just hooked. I dusted off my bloody Switch after a bloody year or so it's good.
And I just say it's fun hearing you guys talk about it right now, because it's like your first one, Gaz, and then played the old one and hasn't played them since, and you're talking about how it's like the 2D, and then it goes into a cutscene, then it's boss, and then it does it again and again. I'm just sitting here like, yeah, that's Metroid, because I played.
Is it? Oh, really?
Actually, a fun fact is Super Metroid on the SNES, I think, was the first hard, I guess, difficult, long game that I beat as a kid. That was like one of the first games I ever beat, and I was super proud of it. And since then, I've been a Metroid fan. So it's just it's kind of cute hearing you guys talk about it like this.
It's like me sharing my story of how I lost my virginity, basically.
Whoa.
But Metroid.
Whoa.
There it is. Who wanted the gas? Someone in chat wanted the cult gas.
Did not expect that.
That's what we do at GameOnDaily. But yeah, seriously, this is starting to be a very special experience, and I hope it carries its way through. But if I did not know that, I thought everyone was like, oh wow, this is amazing how it switches, but the old games did it. That's weird. That's cool. That's great.
I mean, more so like I guess the whole like going through the area, then the boss, and you see the boss come out from under the ground, and then it's boss fight, and like that kind of thing. Mm-hmm.
Same thing then. It really nails that kind of. That's the feel I've got, and I've only got in a few, like a level, just switched to one area now, and it's very hard. It's very, very hard.
Is it? Like, I wanted to know, do you think it's difficult? Because I'm seeing people say it's difficult, but I wonder.
It's not difficult, but it's not what I like. This is a challenging game. Like, there's some enemies in the game where you have to run, and the tense nature of it is like, and I just so make so many dumb mistakes. You know, like in the horror movies when the people have their keys and they can't put the keys.
Right.
I'm like, you idiot! What the flip is wrong with you? You deserve to die. You deserve to die. You know, and I'm that guy. I'm like, all I have to do is slide underneath the ledge. I'm like I've got, but
It doesn't
some
process. Like your brain is saying it, but your hands don't do it. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Escape missions. That's a GIF.
That is a GIF. You know what another one is a GIF is, guys, do the where you wiggle the tongue and you do the shoulder thing.
Let me see that. What is that?
No.
Show
I don't know
Erica.
what he's
Do it.
talking about.
Do it.
I don't know why he's talking.
Do it.
But yeah, I don't know. But I'm here for your entertainment, aren't I? Might as well put
Dang
some
right.
makeup on, red nose on there, because
Wag your
that's
dog.
what I am. I'm
Wag
a
your tail,
clown
little
to you.
dog. Wag your tail.
Wow.
Yeah, it is, Alvin. It's not very difficult, but the game requires you to remember where you are, like the map. You have to look at the map. Normally I hate that. I'm like, I don't want to look at maps like Assassin's Creed, or just look at the map. This is different. It's like you chart your way through. You have to plan sometimes when you have those crazy little mini bosses in screen. Really good game. Really good game. Check that out. Check it out if you haven't, and dust your Switch off, because this is a special game. It feels special already. And I read up on the story, which is really cool. IGN have a video like just wrapping up, like, or summarizing the old games. So you've got the Metroids, and you've got the Chozords or something. Chozzies? I don't know what the name is. I completely got that wrong.
I'm
so.
terrible with names. Even with games I love.
Chozos. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Chozos and stuff. So yeah, it's wicked. It's wicked. So can't wait for the Metro Prime 4 now, and I haven't even completed this one. But that's a great game. That's a great game. But I know Asa hasn't played it, so I can't talk too much about it. But it's just come out. I don't want to ruin it. We've got reviews on our site. It has scored very well across the board. Like, I think it's an 88 meta for those who care. And it's
Game of the year.
Game of the year content. That's a good question. That's a good point. Is it game of the year contender?
That's what I'm
don't
hearing.
know.
I'm hearing it's one of those. Yeah.
It's a really good game. Really good game. Deserves to be there based on my very brief playthrough of about 3-4 hours. But yeah, so let's check that out. That came out nowhere, and it's great. Nintendo finally, when they have such sparse releases, but when they do release something, they just take over the mindshare of gamers. Another game that's been taking the mindshare of gamers, but perhaps not in a positive way. And I've been seeing the coverage of my colleagues here in chat, in the panel, sorry. And we're going to get into it. Before we do, though, let me quickly read these super chats. Gunstar, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. He goes, hello, everyone. Hi, Gunstar. Rand's not on, yeah? So you decided to show up. I'm always going to give you shit every time you turn up. But thank you so much for the super chat. Face, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. It's very generous of you. Cold, celebrating higher resolution on Series X on Far Cry 6, but level of detail is higher on PS5 than Series X. Digital Foundry pointed it out. Not a huge difference between PS5 and Series X. Face 23 BKNY is dropping sauce.
Well, can I speak on that? Because he's wrong.
Yeah.
Higher level of detail. He's talking about Digital Foundry said there was a slightly higher LOD in the far distance, but at 1 million to 2 million fewer pixels on the screen, that LOD way back in the background is not going to be an advantage. This is just one of those examples where we're seeing that the mature SDK and the tools for the raw power of the hardware is, here you go. If this is what you're waiting for, unfortunately, it took about 9 or 10 months for the software development kit to be ready. And this is a multi-plat that is still in the cross-generation window. It's not using any RDNA 2 features. And there have been a lot of games this past year where there's been a resolution advantage with the Xbox, and then the PS5 may have more frame rate, like less frame rate drops. This is just one of those things. I also feel like not a lot of people care about this as far as me celebrating pixel counts. I've really gotten over the celebration of pixel counts over the past 2 years. I've talked about them. I've talked about, with Jason Ronald, I interviewed him. He talked about how, like, this isn't my claim. This is software and hardware engineers saying these are the specs. This is what we expect from software in games. This is what should happen. Things weren't happening as they were getting used to the SDK. Like, I don't know. I mean, do people really go out and celebrate and wave a flag about 2 million more pixels or 3 or 4 more frame rates per second in certain areas? I don't know. I think it's become a tired argument. The Xbox Series X is more powerful. The Series S can do double the frame rate over PS5 in many games. It's just something you have to deal with. It doesn't matter. I have both of them right here. I'll play my multiplats in the Xbox because that's what I do.
Why do you have a Series S? Why would you? I'm not gonna bring that up.
I'm about ready to relinquish that Series S to the other room. My kids and I have been playing so many games together. I need to get them off of a 30 FPS last gen console, or else for their health and safety.
That's a responsible dad. That's a responsible dad, right?
Responsible dad.
Yeah. Sheriff says, Gaz, why are you not bringing Marlin Gaming Nation on? We've had him on before, and we were supposed to have him, but he works on Saturdays, so there's a problem. But he will be back. He will definitely be back very soon. Don't worry. We'll definitely get him on. A great guy. And I want to get into this hashtag delay Battlefield Ericuts for the win. Like, I got a lot of me and your friend, or sometimes husband. Oh no, it's Alex.
Sometimes husband.
I don't know. Oh, full-time husband. I don't know. I can't.
Full-time. Get it right. What about him? What about us? What do we do?
See, all I want to say is that they don't really care about... sorry, I was magpie there. Me, Alex, some of us, Colt as well, early on, espoused this notion of delaying Halo, and that got a lot of controversy and back. You deserve it. And now it's Battlefield's time. We've had these betas out, and Battlefield, to me, and I've played it, is looking pretty damn rough. And I saw you, Erica, battling it out on the Twitterverse, talking about people were saying all sorts of things. Before I bring up some of the tweets you were responding to and the arguments
You're
they were raising.
You're going to bring them up? The receipt? You got receipts?
Yeah, I got receipts. I got receipts. It's all there. It's all there in the Twitterverse. First of all, what are your thoughts on Battlefield 2042's beta?
Okay, so as we all know, it is a beta. I did get a lot of responses like that. It's just a beta. Speaking strictly on it, my first impression, and I did a video about it, was it's super rough. I actually compared the Series S to PS5 and PC. All of them had issues. The PC, as you could guess, had less. And then the more I played on PC, I actually been playing the past couple nights and streaming it on PC. I start to see that it's much better. Like, I feel like it improved over time, glitch-wise, but it's still really rough. I've been told all kinds of things, and you're going to get into that, so we'll wait on those. There's like, I don't want to call them excuses, but it's like a lack for a better word. But there is like excuses for it. I'm a big Battlefield fan. I've been playing Battlefield since like the 360 with Battlefield 3. That's really when I got into it. And all their betas and like launches, for the most part, besides maybe Battlefield 1, were pretty rough. So I fully expect this kind of stuff. Like, it's not surprising, but I think initially I just had this feeling of like something's off. It felt off to me in the way of like that Battlefield feeling. I didn't really have it at first. But the more I play it and the more I just fight through these glitches and fight through the problems, because it has underlying issues. Like the reviving, for one, is a mess. The nades, the what's default, what's not. The way you can't really tell who's an enemy and who's not. That's kind of a thing. It's just really like the core of Battlefield. There's problems. Even if you push the bugs aside, there's like things going on. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I kind of pushed through it. I had some fun. I got to know the weapons better. I did my thing. I'm feeling a little bit better, but I still feel like I'm just worried about launch, and I just hope it launches playable. I just hope it's playable. That's kind of where I'm at. right now.
Yeah. And before we tackle Erica's counters to some of these topics, Colt, you've had a chance to play this, right? What are your thoughts on this?
It's beautiful. I'm assuming I haven't seen it on PC, but it looks really good on Series X. But there are just these weird, like, flat 2D polygonal flashes that come in. Like some guns, if I scoped in, I would get half the screen. We get a big triangle of a texture would come in. I was playing with Dealer, and he was flying one of the jets around. And every time I zoomed in or used the turret gun, like the camera would go like over and over, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and it wouldn't stop. And it's just there was just so many little issues. And I think what Erica was getting at, like you're trying to say, like, you want to have like the Battlefield excitement because you know Battlefield's great. You know it's going to be a good game when everything's all ironed out. I felt that Battlefield, like what makes Battlefield great, but then there's just so many like weird pop-ins and weird glitches and
it's distracting.
hiccups.
So it kind of takes away. Yeah.
And they don't give you like an old build a month or two before release to beta. Like I think they usually try to give you as good as it can go, and they're running netcode and all this stuff. Asa can speak on this, but this I know it's a beta, but these are first impressions, and it worries people who are about to spend $70 on a game. It's not a good look. I feel for them.
Yeah. Asa, what are your thoughts on it? Have you had a chance to play the Battlefield beta?
I played it a little bit, enough that I can actually talk through my entire experience, the emotional roller coaster. So, for context, before going into this, whenever I've spoken about Battlefield, I've always said, like, I like DICE. The Battlefield games are massively impressive. I don't enjoy playing them. Okay? And that plays out here, but you can't ignore all of the bugs and things. So the first game, I played it on the PC. First game, I was like, launch the game, go, play. The menus are terrible, and you have to hope that they'll fix the menus, but fine, play, go into the game. And it said, Battlefield 2042, and just froze until I had to quit the game. That was experience 1. Experience 2, it actually went into a game. It stuck me in a helicopter, and the first thing that I think pretty much everyone will notice is it looks like a lot of stuff is popping in. It's not actually popping in, they've just got really harsh like level of details for things. So, and it goes in in such a harsh pop that it looks like, I don't know, like Sega Saturn clipping or something. It's definitely not, but it looks it. And then I landed from the helicopter, and then another helicopter started shooting at the ground at someone else, and it started dipping these craters into the road. And then I started to go, I'm liking the ambition. This is like deforming the terrain in a way that's like quite impressive. I'm gonna carry on. Then another helicopter flew over and shot me. And that's Battlefield, right? Pick a place, run through. There's no one here. A car just shot me. That's Battlefield for me, typically, right? And then I went and got to a building. I went into a lift. I went, it's a lift. What's the interact button? I don't know. I press it. My character waved his hand around, and the doors closed, and the lift went up, and the doors opened, and then reappeared, and then glitched, and then they were there. And I was like, the doors are closed. So I went up to the doors, and I pressed that interact button, and my player went, and then the lift went down. The doors like glitched, and the lift went back down. I was like, no, the buttons, what? So then I went around back up the lift. I'm going to see what these doors are all about. So I walked forwards a little bit, stuck my face through the door, saw the buildings and the rest of the world, and was like, oh no. Got to the top, the door reappeared. I was like, right, I'm going to walk through it. Walked through the door because it wasn't actually there. I was like, and then someone sniped me. And
Battlefield in a nutshell,
Battlefield
right
2042, the glitches and the experience. I like
and that's the takeaway. A lot of people are saying, and shout out to Mokwama. He in the chat says Vanguard and Battlefield betas had the intention of hyping people up for their respective releases, but ended up making the Infinite hype even higher. Cheers. And he says $5 super chat. Safe Mo, safe. Shout out Wandering Dutch. He says source. Everyone's getting up in the lingo. Safe is UK patois, but or Jamaican patois. But yeah, safe. One thing I was going to say this. I'm going to actually touch double back on this point about how Halo's perceived in light of Battlefield's failings. But Erica, so one of the reasons or excuses people are making is, I won't read the name of the person you're replying to. He says, that's how it always works, Erica, especially for Battlefield. They give us the last mechanically functional build to fine-tune. Then they work on the visuals. Then they combine the two for the release. And they're saying this is an old build. And you were asking for confirmation. And then you said, I don't think Battlefield can afford this. Personally speaking, I'm worried about this game. If it's broken, I will move on and skip like I did Battlefield 5. I agree with you, because later on you also said, like, that's a bit weird. It makes no sense. Why would you make us test an old build? What's the logic behind that? I don't get that. What are your thoughts on this?
It's strange. I legit wanted to know if there is confirmation. Like, if that's how it works, it would kind of make sense because, like I said earlier, like sometimes they launch broken. Like Battlefield 4, for example, was really broken at launch. I don't know if you played it or not.
Yeah.
I did. You did? Okay. So it would make sense. So I just wanted to know, like, okay, is that true? Because then, okay, I get it. But I don't get it because, like you said, it doesn't really make sense. In my mind, I'm just thinking logically as a gamer. I'm not a developer, but I'm thinking, okay, if this is an old build, how does this help DICE now? Because if we're going to report the same bugs that are apparently fixed, as they say, do they want to hear us repeat the same complaints over? Like, how does that help for launch? That's just kind of where I'm at with it. It doesn't really make sense because it doesn't help them. It doesn't help us because we're the ones with the first impression. We're the ones that are going to decide to give them our money. And like I said on Twitter, I skipped Battlefield 5 because part of it was all that drama that was going on. But I just didn't like what I was seeing as far as the theme and everything. And so I have no problem skipping a game from a franchise I love. I've done it before. And I think because my standards for Battlefield are just so high because I know it can be really amazing. I've had amazing times with Battlefield. So I'm just
same.
Right. So I'm just kind of there where it's like I'm not trying to be nitpicky. I think I have legit complaints and I have a reason to be worried. I hope I'm wrong. I will gladly go on Twitter and be like, I was wrong. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. You know, I'd be so happy. But yeah, they did kind of throw me a lot of the, oh, it's a 5-month build. It's a 3-month build, Erica. Like, it's a beta. And I'm not saying they're lying. If that's true, that, okay, cool. I hear you. But why are we playing this old build, you know?
Yeah. And Mokwama says the Infinite actually had an old build, but that worked out really well. So it's not a good look if Battlefield is struggling. That's so the old build excuse kind of doesn't have favor. Colt, like, what are your thoughts on this? Like, this notion that it's an old build, so it's okay. And in light of the fact that this game has suffered a very small delay as well, what do you think?
I think, like what Eric was saying a minute ago, I feel like I'm going to be pressured to buy the game for $70 because a lot of you guys are going to be playing it. You know, like Dealer and Zocker and Dars and you and Asa and everybody who will be, pressuring me to jump on. That always happens to me. I'm kind of with Erica. I kind of don't want to buy it yet. I don't know. I know it's going to be a big game, but them saying they haven't really said like this is an old build. Bear with us. You know, they delayed it for a month. And I guess let me just book in what I don't know what to say, because I like to be respectful to developers, and I think I can say this with the utmost respect that and I said this the other day, almost every game has benefited and will benefit from giving themselves an extra 1 year. And I know besides Cyberpunk, they could give themselves an extra year. They needed another, but I just feel like so many games are so much better after a year of support or a year delay. It's always been the right choice. And when Battlefield said we're not ready yet and they only moved it a month, I'm like, what was that? What was that?
Yeah, and, that's what Asa said. That gives me when I see these month-long delays. Asa, you talked about had these month-long delays on that great. I think another dev said that on our show as well. Like that.
Joe Winter was talking about it, yeah.
Joe Winter, yeah,
So
he was
Joe
saying
Winter,
like
he works on Halo Infinite, and he was talking about delays in general. And the point that he made was that if you get a long delay, you can plan your work around having a certain amount of time to do it. If you get a short delay and then another short delay and then another short delay, you're going to plan for what you can fit into a short amount of time, and it might not be the best solution. So they need the delay up front so they can start the way they mean to fix things.
yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say, Erica, if I said this game needs to be delayed at least 5-6 months? Give them time because Halo is going to be dominating anyway. What would you
Is
say
it
that?
now? Okay.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What would I say to that? I mean, I would understand what you're saying. I don't know if it needs that long. I think I would have been feeling a little bit better if they said till December. Give it 2 months.
Yeah.
Like,
Then we'd have to play Halo and Battlefield
then Halo,
at the same time.
yeah. Like in a better world, maybe Halo should have been November and then Battlefield December or something. But I don't know. Like, do I think it still needs to be delayed? I guess time will tell. If it launches bad, you know, and I guess I'm just more worried about the launch. But the reason I said it can't really afford to launch that way now, because we're in 2021. Back in 2013, when Battlefield 4 launched broken, I felt like they could get away with it a bit more because there was not a lot to play. The consoles just launched. You know, it was a different time. We forgave more then. Yeah. Now we're in a time where there's free to play multiplayers, Halo being one of them, and it's looking way more polished. It's looking really good. You got Call of Duty there, which even if we think it looks terrible or whatever, it's still going to sell. It's going to do its thing. It's Call of Duty season for a lot of people. So I feel like these days at $70, and with what happened with Battlefield 5 did not sell very well compared to the other games. So I feel like it's just a different time. And that's what makes me think like they can't get away with it like they used to get away with it, you know.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. Yeah, and you can't. And even Battlefield 4, I remember day one, me and my friend playing, they're getting those crashes, and that happened for a year. It was really bad. And that's why I'm skeptical about this. I'm erring the side of caution. Oh, shout out to Shabs for becoming a GameOnDaily Elite member, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Great guy as well. Thank you for joining the Game On Familia. Wandering Dutch, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. He goes, he's played the Battlefield 2042 beta and he feels like you. Things felt off with the guns, the UI, performance, overall feel. He's cancelled his pre-order and he's waiting to see, which is probably the sensible thing, really. And I think we're all feeling the same way with that. So hopefully DICE are very talented, and I think they will agree, Erica, that they cannot afford to have Battlefield, like this will really hurt them if Battlefield 6 or 2042 gets suffers like Battlefield 4 or anything remotely close to that. That's gonna really hurt, really hurt. But let me know. And John Rocks asks, is our DICE a big deal anymore?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
it is. They are a big deal.
Thing, you know,
they're very talented.
Graphically, I mean, they do their thing. They got that engine. It's gonna look beautiful, I'm sure, especially PC and like the X and stuff. It's gonna look good. It's just, what does that matter if you can't play it?
Well, I will say this though. And this might be, and I'm a Battlefield header as well. I really, it was between Halo and Battlefield in terms of how much time I'd spend. I'm not that impressed with what I played generally of the game anyway, because it felt to me like an expansion pack of Battlefield 4. I played that and I thought, there's not enough there. I mean, there is enough in terms of the player numbers are there. I really like the vegetation, the abundance of vegetation in those green bits. That's crazy. Like you could proper like
there's a lot.
The green bits.
You didn't think it was too
bits.
much? You didn't think it was
There
too
was a
much?
lot. I mean, there was a lot though. But at the same time, technically, I was impressed by it.
Yeah.
But like in terms of the realism of it all, but like things I don't like in Battlefield 3, you can go off on a runway. You can't do that. They've just scaled it back and you spawn like in the air. Jet controls was the same. It really feels like an like if you there's a video on Battlefield 3 comparison with 2042, and in terms of the visual upgrade, it's not that big for a decade-long difference. You cannot feel a decade-long difference. I don't see it, especially a PC build. So I am a very do it.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
That's difficult while it's glitchy, but I would say so when people ask whether dice is still relevant anymore, you have to remember that dice were absolutely top tier for pushing the previous generation of consoles. So if you look at whether they're good games or not, if you look at the likes of Battlefront 2, running at 60 frames per second, they're pretty much unmatched. They were phenomenal games on those consoles. Whether they've delivered to the same extent on this one, I mean, it's a different time and it's a new set of hardware, but they are still entirely relevant. Like, they're
I'm not saying they're irrelevant.
No, I know you're not, but that's the response with the chat in question did ask, are they still relevant? Like, very much still relevant. And if they fix the glitches and this pop-in issue, it's going to look gorgeous with all the destruction that goes on and all the rest of it. It is a powerhouse of a game when it works. If it works.
If it works.
I say that someone doesn't necessarily like it.
No, honestly, I mean, it's not no mean feat having 64 players on one side doing it, but I didn't feel. Shout out to Jordy for becoming a GameOnDaily member, man. Join the Elite Familia. Before we go to the next topic, you, Asa, and Jordy were at EGX this year. I was supposed to go. I had my time booked off, but I couldn't go. Just life. What was it like? What was EGX like? Because I'm hearing some mixed things.
You're not hearing mixed things. You're hearing nothing but negative things, and they're unfortunately fairly.
That's a lie. You're right. Yeah, I heard negative things.
EGX, for the people that don't know, it's usually a relatively small convention. It's not like E3 or Gamescom or anything, but you usually do get a presence. So we went last year, and this was before Cyberpunk was launched, and there was a massive Cyberpunk booth. There was a Death Stranding booth, like Final Fantasy VII Remastered was there. There was a lot of big games that people were anticipating, and there was a lot to do. And unfortunately, none of those supported it this year. So they still put the event on, and they did the best. And I don't want to be too harsh because it takes a lot of effort to organise something like that. But they said very late in the day, like a week prior, like, by the way, it's not too many people here, but please come anyway. And still charge everyone the same and all the rest of it. So there were a lot of people walking around with kitten ears. Don't know why.
Kitten ears?
Featuring
cat ears?
right now. Yeah, like cat ears of various colours. So maybe I'm missing something, but
you didn't get a pair.
I already own many.
When Gas and I go around, we wear cat's tails, but that's like a totally different thing.
What?
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
I have no idea. Do not listen to him, chat. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm talking another talk about. Another big game that actually got released that has had mixed reception, which I haven't had a chance to play, but I think someone here or by some of you or all of you have had in the panel, and let me know in chat if you have, is Far Cry. Far Cry 6 has finally graced us, and I know from being in party chat with you, Colt, you and Dealer were giggling like little schoolgirls as you were playing that. What are your thoughts on Far Cry 6? That's all I heard.
Yes, of course, it is like every Far Cry game. So if you like Far Cry, I don't even need to say that. I'm having fun. In co-op, we're having so many laughs. Dealer's driving over my alligator. Dealer drives over anything that's like moving. The game's fun. Like, they give you more toys early on. I am like an hour and a half into the campaign. I've actually replayed the first half an hour with Fonz, with Dealer, and with Chris Grinnell, and then my own. So I've played all that over and over again. And like an hour and a half into the game, I bought a big, like, it's got a shifter knob with an 8-ball on it, and it's a fireworks launcher. Like, it shoots like rockets, but they explode as fireworks and blow up vehicles and stuff. So they give you access to that rocket jetpack backpack thing early on.
Oh yeah,
like they just want to give you. I kind of don't like that where they give you the toys too early. I like it when you got to really work to earn them. I think the instant gratification generation is getting their fill here, but you get into the fun early on, and you're not meant to take it seriously. It's like it's the same plot that Just Cause has done 4 times. It's the same plot that Far Cry has done a couple times. You're in a, impoverished or dictatorship-ridden country that's like not a real country. So yeah. I mean, Ace has got this sizzle trailer on. If you liked, the best way to put it is, if you loved Far Cry 3 and 5, you should. I think you're going to get your $60 worth. How's that? I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You're going to get your money's worth.
If that's what you want. Erica, have you played this? Do you have any interest in playing this?
No, well, even if I did, I think I've told you guys before, like first person campaign, like
oh yeah,
I would get so sick playing that. But that's typically what I hear though about it is like, yeah, if you like the old ones, or you like the, Far Cry 3 or specific ones, it's kind of more of the same, and it's just better graphics, kind of do the same things. I mean, that's kind of with Ubisoft in general. Like when it comes to their certain games, like they just kind of play the same. Yeah. So I could see why people would be bothered by that, but I mean, hey, if people like it, and if that's what worked before, I mean, I don't see the big deal with that. It's more of the same.
So the thing is, this Acer caused a bit of controversy with Far Cry 6. So Vice did not a review, but like an opinion piece, and they said Far Cry, the title was clickbait, but in my opinion, they kind of justified it. They say it's creatively and morally, the morally part I take issue with, and someone mentions the cockfights in chat. Far Cry is creatively and morally bankrupt, and they talk about this derivative gameplay, and they felt like, I'll quote it here, it felt like an exhausting chore list, and I needed gasoline and metal to construct buildings, blah blah blah. And this is a typical qualm that people have with the Ubisoft's formula. And Jeff Grubb also did a really good article on it, and he was talking about the fact that it feels like it's processed food. What do you think about this formula? Because I think they're bang on the money there. I think those are really good articles. They got a lot of flack for those articles because people say, why do you do reviews if you don't like these games? And I'm like, that's not a review for one thing, but two, there's a very valid point there. But that's my opinion. What's your opinion, Ace, on this?
I knew that was for me, because when you want to ask me a question, you ask the question and it gets to the end and you go, actually, I want to say some more, and you keep on talking and the question goes on. Yeah, it's got to be for me. It's an interesting conversation. I think it's a fair conversation to have, because the Ubisoft open world formula irks me, even when it appears in other games. So like Ghost of Tsushima borrows a lot from it, and I will beeline through the story as hard as I can. I don't want to chase collectibles and all the rest of it. It's a fair conversation, but it's not the right time to have it. Far Cry 6 is not the right game to point the finger at, in my opinion. So it absolutely is as guilty as they come, but you've got to consider the timing. Okay, so we've had 2 years of a pandemic. If you've got a formula that works and gameplay that works, and you've got all the structure in place, it's not necessarily the best time to reinvent the wheel. Far Cry 7, but by all means revisit. Yeah, but Far Cry. Go on.
I'm sorry. I've played so much of Far Cry and the expansions, and like they just put out Far Cry 5 in the beginning of I think it was February or March of 2018. They had 3 expansions, and then they put out Far Cry New Dawn the next year in 2019, and then it's been a while, like through the pandemic. I guess that's the thing, like. People are saying it was time to change up the formula, maybe bring it back to what Far Cry 1 and 2 did, but they didn't, and they kind of go with this winning formula. But I think once we saw the first trailers, we expected Far Cry 6 to be derivative. And I think the scores say that the majority are okay with that. I think it's scoring in the high 70s, which means this is a great game. It's not going to blow you away, but if you like this, like I said, I feel like if you really liked 3 and 5 and maybe 4, you're probably going to get your money's worth out of the game. You'll play through all the content. You'll have a lot of laughs. You'll have a good time, and you'll get creative, and you'll feel like you didn't waste your money, I hope. Because somebody asked me the other day, they DM'd me on Twitter, and every once in a while someone will say, hey, Colt, is this game worth my money? And I'm so scared to answer them because I don't want to help them spend their money if they feel like they're going to regret it later. So that's like the best advice I can get. As I think you'll probably get your money's worth. And sometimes you get your money's worth in the first couple hours. You're having a really good time. You had a lot of laughs. You know you'll finish the game. and
Yeah.
you feel like I was okay with that purchase.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's fair enough. I will play Far Cry. I think you will get diminishing returns. I think the Ubisoft formula in its totality has worn so thin. Like, I'm just so sick of it. Ghost of Tsushima, and Asa makes a good point. I always question myself, why am I enjoying this? Because this is something I shouldn't enjoy based on the fact that I've kind of grown bored of that formula. But Ghost of Tsushima does a lot right for me. Like, I love the Japanese setting. I love the combat in that, the whole face-off thing, and that kind of stuff pulls me in. And Far Cry, I've completed every single one apart from Far Cry 5. This one I will try.
Good.
Yeah, so my friend Ben plays that a lot, and he's like, you should definitely play it. But yeah, so yeah, it's going to be divisive, but the diminishing returns do show in the reviews. So for Far Cry 4, the highest review was 85. Far Cry 5's highest reviews was 82 on the Xbox One, and Far Cry 6 is now the highest is 76. 80 on the Series X. It's the highest on that. So I think there's danger there. But Asa makes a really good point. You make a good point, Asa, about the fact that this is not the time to test the waters. You have to play it safe in these weird, challenging, uncertain times. Hargit Shiny, thank you so much for the chat, the elite chat, for being a member as well for 4 months. The news at the bottom is great. Hilarious. Rare sighting of Asa smiling. Yeah, I wrote those. Apologies. So there's a lot of jabs at Asa. Also, in the future, for people who leave comments on GameOnDaily.com, the best comments will appear at the bottom of that news sticker. So flex your brain muscles. Isma, easy. Thank you so much for the $5 Canadian. He says, Battlefield 2042. Can people stop complaining about a build? This is directed at you, Erica. How dare you complain?
How dare I? Oh, I'm so
and
horrible.
Guys, you're a horrible human being. And Microsoft is so quiet these days. We need more acquisition news.
What?
Isma, thank you so much for the super chat. Have to. Actually,
I think. Let me just say.
Go on.
Is it Isma? Isma easy?
Yeah.
I think you should just relax. Go play a game. Just go play a game. Go play a game right now. Fire it up. Dust off your consoles. Go play.
Sauce. Isma, she's dropping sauce on you. You're gonna take that, Isma? Are you gonna take that, Isma? Isma, I understand the frustration when people like the complaint, but you have to understand, Isma, there's a reason behind it. After what happened with Battlefield 4, do you blame us? And it's 3-4 month old. We want it to be good. I know you don't believe us, but have you seen? Gone is Erica's last video on her YouTube channel. It's her, Solid Rev, and her crew playing Battlefield. Like,
Yeah, we had a good
we
time.
are fans. We want it to be good. And guess what? Make fun of me for delaying Halo. Halo's only good now because of people like us said delay it. That's right. It's good solely thanks to me. That's right.
all thanks to you guys.
It's all thanks to me. And Colt. Colt was there. Colt was there to delay it. Still saying delay it. But yeah, like, it's good. And shout out to, after we just grilled Isma. We didn't grill Isma. We respectfully disagreed. We say, oh, no, I didn't mean to swear there.
What'd you say?
Welcome to the GameOnDaily Elite. I'm going to keep doing that. The next one will be autotune, whoever becomes a member next, if they become a member. Oh my god, they did become a... Asa, no, do not mute me. I have to give a shout out to Sleepy Goblin. That was horrible. I will not do that again.
Auto-tune, though. Okay.
We need to get you a talk box, bro.
I need to get a
I
talk
have to
box.
call you Gas Pain up in here. You hear
Gas
that?
pain. Yeah. There's actual pain there. I felt that in Ace's face. Shout out Sleepy Goblin. Thank you so much for being a member. Honestly, it means a lot. And we are ramping up the content. I keep saying it, but we are. Colt knows it. And shout out to Zorka in the chat. Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much. It really means a lot, and it helps us push more content is more.
Yes,
Trust me, adds pressure.
Please look at Cole. He's had his hand up for like
Cole?
20 minutes.
Oh, sorry.
I forgot what I was going to say. Remember that in school?
Don't.
Remember that in school? Like when they finally... Jeffrey, what do you want? I forgot. When you guys were talking about Ubisoft, like playing it safe, isn't there like a problem right now with Ubisoft? They're not doing anything new. Like they're just kind of following older trends. They're doing Battle Royale, Ghost Recon. They tried to copy the Sea of Thieves wonder with Skull and Bones, which has been delayed. And they did that Division first-person free-to-play, competitive shooter.
Yeah.
So, I know it sounds really horrible. I really like a lot of Ubisoft games. I know Zocker's in the chat. We play a ton of them. They always look amazing. They always play really well. Are they the best ever? I always feel like Ubisoft is like, they have a really great recipe of like what makes a game great. Like they put in all the ingredients of things that gamers enjoy and that make a lot of money. And then they make a great game, but they just don't make like a standout award-winning title. But they make so many things. And I think it's expected for Far Cry 6 to be more of what you expect with a little extra fun and a little bit of new variety in it. But anyway, that was I guess that subject's long gone. But that's how I feel about Ubisoft.
I like it
I've
too.
always been a fan, though.
Yeah, so I'm the first one to criticize the Ubisoft formula. Like I don't particularly enjoy it. If you tell me to climb a tower and then say you did great, now go climb another tower in a different district, that's when I stopped playing Watch Dogs Legion. Like that literally happened. Climb a tower, like well done, you turn the TV on or whatever. Go do that. Here, and here on the map. I'm not going to do that. Thanks, Ubisoft. I just for this all to come to a head on Far Cry 6 of all time, of all titles, when people just want games to release well polished because we've had a weird couple of years.
Yeah,
you can understand. You have people complaining about like the next God of War uses the same animation for a boat. Like, if something's not broken, you don't fix it. We want to see Ubisoft innovate and create new things for sure. I'm the first one to say I want their formula to go now, refresh, do something new, do something innovative, make all this side content actually gripping for me, please, Ubisoft. But Far Cry 6 is fine. Like it's timing.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
me, anyway.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I agree, and I will play Far Cry. But if it keeps happening, that pressure is mounting. Where is Beyond Good and Evil 2, man? Like, where is that? That's completely MIA.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah, no, everyone has. This tech was supposed to be so ambitious. You could scale the planet down, no loading. It's crazy if you saw their tech demo, and yeah, it doesn't. Isma Easy, though, is a good sport. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Goes, I'll take it. I love the sauce. That's why I'm here. That's a true sauce connoisseur. And, oh, damn. Asa, they love the autotune. Yeah, I have to.
You see what they're calling you?
What are they calling me? G-Pain. Came up. G-Pain. Boxing! Welcome to the GameOnDaily Elite! And I'm going to keep going crazier for everyone who does it.
You know what, guys? Panel,
oh gosh,
chat. I just have to tell you, when I'm on Xbox Live playing games with Gaz in the party chat, he does that in the party chat. We're in party chat, and he does Gaz Pain. Oh my gosh,
G-Pain. That's a sick name. Whoever came up with that. G-Pain. That's a sick name.
I'll just like sink into my chair every time you do that. Yeah.
Everyone's telling me to shut the F up in the same time. Shut up, Gaz! That's why Dealer ended his RDX. I was lucky to be on his RDX partner. Shout out to Dealer, by the way. And he just ends his stream and shut the F up, T-Pain. He's too quick-witted. Alvin, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Because franchises should keep to the formula if it's working or selling. The user can always find something else. There are a plethora of other options. That's true. Like you said, if it's not broke, why fix it, right, Asa? And there's a fan base there. They enjoy the game, and a lot of people in our community were like visibly annoyed that no, why do you review these games or blah blah blah, and they're entitled to their opinion. There's definitely a room for argument there. Alvin, you are right. There's a lot of options there, but for perhaps arguably for Ubisoft's own health and the franchise's own health, just don't want it to be just rinsed until it's soulless. And we've seen games.
Also, too, is like there's developers who do evolve and put these guys to shame, because I could just think of one, for example, is From Software. Like you had them come out with Dark Souls 3, right, recently, then go to Sekiro, Bloodborne. Like, there's formulas and stuff in there, and some people do criticize like, oh, it's just From Software, Dark Souls, but there's a lot of different things in each game. And now you have Elden Ring that's going to go open world now, and they already promised it's not going to be like Ubisoft where things are just littered on the map. It's not even like that. It's going to be more in tune
Thank God for that.
But more like Breath of the Wild, where you explore and kind of find. So if you know what I mean, like, so if there's examples like that, it's like you, of course there's going to be a conversation of like, well, these guys are doing it, so what's up with Ubisoft? They got more money too, probably. So what's up?
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up, because one thing, and people were so quick to dismiss the Vice article. This is quoted from their article, and they were so spot on, because this is an open world game. And let me know your thoughts. This is what they say. Open world games are supposed to invite the possibility of exploration and discovery. In Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and MGS5 Phantom Pain, the game's various systems collide in fun and surprising ways. In Ubisoft's open world sandboxes, and Far Cry is no exception, the fun feels prescribed. This is exactly what Jeff Grubb was also saying about this like manufactured or whatever food. If you've played Assassin's Creed, Ghost Recon, or Far Cry in the last 10 years, you know how Far Cry will play out. You'll climb near a tower, like you said, Asa, near an outpost, mark various targets, and then kill them. And Erica, that's the point, that there's not enough dynamism. Like the initial dynamism that in the world, like an alligator would walk in there, or a bear, you're just replacing skins in the game. That's what I completely gelled with what Vice said there. This doesn't feel dynamic. But what you've said of Elden Ring, and I didn't know they said this, by the way, about Elden Ring being like Zelda. That's just got me. I know you're an Elden Ring baby, but I'm now super hyped about Elden Ring now because of what you just said. That kind of stuff. Good.
I mean, that's just what they've said based on like previews and stuff, like IGN and places like that. They're like, it's kind of like the more in tune with that compared to like a Ubisoft structure where it's just like go here, go here, go here. It's like, no, you're gonna explore and kind of go at your own pace and do what you can even skip bosses and things like that. So and come back to them later, and like, you know what I mean? There's more freedom with it. That's
the thing. So Zorka in the chat, the man with the baby carrots, and Fonzarelli backing him in a rare display. When does Fonz back up Zorka? But it happens on this show. They're literally doing a fusion dance together because Fonz says From Software doesn't really change. I disagree. And Zorka is doing the same. Now he says, I disagree. From Software has made the same formula for 15 years. Error cuts for the win. Please, what's your retort there?
They didn't play the games. That's all I can say. They didn't play them because if you look at like the Dark Souls versus Sekiro, very different in the way they play. But Fawn said that. Fawn, invite me on your show. We'll talk about it. All right.
Fawn, invite Eric on the show. I invite Eric on the show. There is a challenge right there. Challenge. There's beef. Stop. I agree with you, Erica. I'm with you. But Zorka mentions a point about there are patterns there. Don't make me beat the crap out of you, Zorka. But that's a fair point. There are patterns to learn. Actually, Erica, what's this point about? There's patterns to learn once you learn the patterns. Yeah, in the combat.
But, I mean, a lot of games are like that, though. Kena, you learn patterns there, too. I mean, it's a lot of games where you have patterns. I think they're talking about boss patterns, and you learn the pattern, and then you win.
I think so, Zorka. Let me know what you think.
I thought at first they meant just like the formula of the game. Like, there's stuff in there that's similar, but that's what's so great about it is because you still feel like it's From Software, but it's different enough. It's like fresh. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Like Sekiro's way different from Dark Souls, isn't it? In its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of Dark Souls, but I played more of Sekiro because it felt. I mean, it's evolved, but people love this stuff.
It's more like an action game.
I think
RPG.
Jeff Grubb was saying a lot of that yesterday, wasn't he, Erica? About how there are so many franchises that recycle their formula over and over and kind of continue and build upon it slowly. And he said, like, people don't complain about that, but I feel like they do. Like, Destiny 2 is too much like Destiny 1, but millions and millions and millions of people have thousands of hours into the game. That super chat you read earlier is so spot on. Like, if you don't like the formula of Far Cry, go play something else. And, you know, Ubisoft makes plenty of other games that may feel different, like Rider Republic is, like, steep in dirt, you know? I don't know. Like, there are... Why do we complain so much in this community?
Shut the... Cold. We're allowed to complain.
Every game is for everyone. They want to play. They want everything tailored to them. But, you know,
that's true.
That's how it is a lot.
We're spoiled. We're very spoiled, aren't we? We are spoiled. And Nick's in the chat says, "From Software stays in their lane. They're all called Souls for a reason. Some subtle changes don't make it an evolution. Eric Cuts for the win." I keep saying he didn't say your name there. I just keep adding it.
I'm like, did they really say my name? Like,
no, they didn't.
Fighting words.
The fighting words. Zorka, I wish you could jump in as well. A new userless interface doesn't allow us to just pop people in because it would wreak havoc on the name tags. But Pixelbit G, he's always complaining about me complaining. We are spoiled. We played too many games, lol. Jaded. Pixelbit, you're the most jaded guy I know in comment section. You're always complaining. Stop complaining, Pixelbit. I'm playing with you. But yeah, this is what I do. You come for the source. Even on live loyal viewers, you can't escape the source. That's what you want. You want it real. Doug Griggity, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He goes, I'm enjoying Far Cry 6 so far, but it definitely feels familiar. It should feel familiar. If it didn't, Dirt, you've got onset of Alzheimer's, because that's pretty much the same game but different textures and skins. Yeah, I said it. Yeah. Pixelbit goes, I don't complain more than you, Gaz. It is simply what it is. He's so authoritarian in the way he discusses things. But fair enough. Fair enough. No one can escape the Souls Lopez. You're right. Yeah, so that was an interesting talk. Very diverse. See, this is what happens when you invite discourse. This is when you have chats. Don't gatekeep discourse. Diverse views. I will beat the out cult next year. Blocked. Jason Schreier would not like it. But no, shout out to Jason. I give him such a bad time. And I will do in the next episode of The Source. Please, thank you. Shout out to the 250 people watching. Please smash that like button. We're going to get into some saucy topics. Before we do get into the big topic, I kind of skipped on this topic. I wanted to ask your opinions in chat. Asa, sorry, I know you're not obedient and I feel guilt in asking you. Can you do a poll if you kindly, because I don't know how to do it. Which FPS will rule this holiday season? Halo, Battlefield, or Call of Duty? If you say, if anyone votes Call of Duty, yeah, Halo, Call of Duty, or Battlefield? Colt.
Yeah, I like this. I want to see him type this up. Which one do I think will rule? Oh my gosh, it's so tough. Okay, so there's metrics, right? Like Call of Duty Vanguard will probably sell the most. I think Battlefield and Halo will have nearly the same amount of players. It sounds so bold to say it. I think there's going to be so many people playing Halo because Halo's finally back. It's free to play. It's on everything but PlayStation. So I think it could have a large amount of people that first couple months. Yeah. So, gosh, I really think that Halo is
struggling on this. I thought you knew this was a struggle.
Because Battlefield is so huge and it's on every platform except for Switch. You always have to have a caveat, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't say it because I'm an Xbox guy. I just feel like there's something special about Halo finally coming back, finally putting on their big boy pants and getting away from what 5 was. So I think there's something special. I think people are going to jump in, and I think Halo is going to come out to be the more popular game. But I think the sales will say Call of Duty is the winner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how else to
Hey, so
say
your
it.
polls are ridiculous. The thing Gaz said. But yeah, so Erica, look, Colt said, and you kind
He
of
doesn't like
broke
to
it
be
down
told
really
what
well.
to do. Mr.
Yeah, he does.
Anti-authority. Hey, so we love him.
He is. He's a big Rage Against the Machine fan. Erica for the win.
Good taste.
Yeah, good taste. I love it. Rage Against the Machine. Which one? Chat
was gonna-
seems pretty one-sided.
Yeah, I just saw the results already. Like, wow.
Chat.
Well, I was
Fight
gonna
him.
ask
Fight him.
before Colt gave his answer. I was thinking, well, what define rule? Like, are we talking sales? We talking like mind
Yes.
share?
all
like,
of them.
what's
All of
popular?
them. Which
What-
game do you think will sell more?
It
Which
doesn't
one will
work
have more
that way,
mind
though.
share? Which one will review better?
Oh, review better. Okay, so Battlefield doesn't have a campaign.
Either did
Hey.
Overwatch.
Halo's going to have a campaign. True. Yeah. So it's. I don't know. I don't want to get into the
See?
reviews because that gives it
No.
a whole other. That gives it a whole other.
Call back
thing to
out.
think
Call
about.
back out. What's this? Who's going to score higher? You have to say it. You have to say it. You have
Call
to
of
say it.
Duty, Halo, or Battlefield.
Battlefield. Shouldn't be this hard, Erica. I think it's one-sided. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
You think it's
Interested.
one-sided? I don't think it's that easy. Because I'm thinking, well,
not.
if Battlefield launches flawless, I think it reviews
Impossible.
better. I think it reviews better. But if that's impossible, right? Like if it doesn't,
Yeah.
see, there's like factors. It's like if it launches broken, and they cannot get on those servers, they can't review it because there's no campaign. There's nothing else to review. So it's like Halo, you're gonna at least still have.
They will knock
campaign.
it pretty hard, yeah, if it has problems. But
Right.
Erica's right. Like
It's tough.
Battlefield does more. Like it's bigger. You have more players. You've got tornadoes. Like there's a bit more creativity in Battlefield. Even though Halo's got like this grapple and all these things, people are doing some amazing stuff in both games. I kind of feel like the audience and the panel, we're probably thinking Call of Duty doesn't get to sit on the big boy table this year.
It doesn't.
But
For
Battlefield
sales,
and Halo,
yes, but not.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
other
for
stuff. Yeah,
sales.
unfortunately,
I don't think
it'll
it'll sales. I think the sales will dip quite a bit, in my opinion, for some reason. I think it'll dip. But you're saying, okay, so you think it's tough in terms of review,
I'll
in
ju- I'll
terms
just-
of players?
I'll be bold. I'll throw predictions. I say, gosh,
don't worry about what the chat says.
no, I don't. I'm not even looking at chat. Who? I don't know who's saying what.
No one is saying
who?
anything bad in chat.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. Shout out to the chat. It's just the Battlefield throws me off, man, because it's like if it releases broken, I'm completely wrong. I'm gonna just go ahead and say Battlefield reviews better.
Okay,
Multiplayer-wise,
okay.
you know, but if it's broken, I mean, goodbye to that prediction.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is gonna sell more. Halo, we won't even know what the hell because it's free, so we'll
Yeah.
have engagement players and things like that. I think longevity-wise, as far as what we keep talking about, I feel like Halo is going to be really in the conversation. I feel like it's going to do really well. And then with Battlefield being shaky and us talking about its problems, and I think that helps Halo.
Yeah.
And the differences were clear. I really thought it was interesting, and I was going to tweet about this, but I had enough people coming at me. I was going to mention, I noticed a lot of people really dragging Halo for its problems, but
Yeah.
then praising Battlefield
Yeah.
beta. And I'm like, where is the dignity there? You guys
Hey.
know Battlefield plays worse. But a lot
Yeah.
of people, I think they just have that, they call it the Xbox stench. And they don't like Xbox. They don't like Halo. I am not an avid Halo player. And I really enjoyed that beta. The demo,
Yeah.
whatever you call it. It's a beta, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It is a bit.
Test or
Flighty.
test.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Flighty.
very like hopeful for Halo. I feel like Halo is going to be really fun and it's looking promising. Battlefield, I'm more
Yeah.
worried, but if they iron it out, I'm going to have both to play. So I hope they both do really well.
Who's going to have more modes at launch? Battlefield 2042 or Halo Infinite?
Halo Infinite by mile.
Is it?
By
I know
mile.
Battlefield
There's
has Portal,
a hard-
Battlefield has that creation.
the Portal thing.
If
Yeah.
if it split into sub modes there, I guess capture the flag and stuff like that. But in terms of this got, we haven't even seen this famed new mysterious game mode. I think Halo has quite a few as well, but that's a good question. I don't know. Zorka the Contrarian had to say it. Battlefield 2042 had one of the best betas from my experience. I swear to God, you love to do this to me. No, it didn't. Just because you have a PC that costs 10 grand. Halo has had an amazing test. It's between those two. No, it's not, Zorka. Halo.
Zorka has the same
correct
PC
answer.
that they built
you guys
the
are
game
all
on.
wrong. You're right. Asa, actually, before I get... Your view was clear, Colt. It was completely in the middle, and you were trying to be safe and be nice and all that.
Nope.
Erica,
Nope.
No. Yes.
Nope.
Yes. Yes.
Nope.
I tried.
No.
Not
What do you mean
to
no?
be
Yes?
nice. I always end up being nice. So.
No, I mean, I don't want to be wrong about my opinion or my prediction. Not that it matters, but I'm trying to take a step back and think objectively about how these two games are going to land. And I think that Call of Duty will have more sales, but I just don't think it'll be in the mind share. Everyone will be talking about this great new Battlefield, and they'll be talking about this resurgence of Halo again. So I think you should get to Kid Smooth's Super because he kind of nails it. But yeah, like kind of go to Kid Smooth's because he's like right on the same wavelength as how I'm looking at how this comes out.
Shout out to Kid Smooth in the chat. It says $5. Thank you so much. He goes, Halo will have more players, higher streaming numbers, and it's free. Battlefield and COD is $70, by the way. Yeah, 100%. There's the answer right there. Halo
I don't think there's a
wins
winner.
everything. Every conceivable metric. Halo has won. I'm just playing.
The only thing about that one, though, and Call of Duty might be a factor, but PlayStation is not in that mix for Halo. So you have a lot of people. There goes my cat.
They wouldn't be
awesome.
Go live with Erica if you can't hear that cat.
Let's ask the cat. Like, Eric, are you with me? Like, there isn't really a discernible winner no matter what happens this holiday. I just don't see how anybody could measure it, really. Because of sales, score, and players.
What?
Let's get the cat on auto-tune.
I think she. I know I need auto-tune. You got to hit me up, Gaz.
We don't mind. We don't mind. It's all
I'm just
fun.
trying to,
Twisted said, the cat
she's a Call of
said,
Duty fan.
hello.
No, there is a lot of factors. I mean, you got the free-to-play for Halo. You got it not being on PlayStation. You got Call of Duty being Call of Duty. So it's like, it kind of, I guess whatever people are playing on PlayStation, if they play more Call of Duty, then maybe Battlefield suffers, or you know what I mean? It's just, it's so many factors.
Yeah, Phase 23 beacon up with another $20 super chat. Jeez. Thank you so much. Because Halo Infinite is only on Xbox and PC. COD and Battlefield are on everything. So Halo Infinite has a large hill to climb. And that's what you were saying, Colt. He said you're nodding away. What do you think about these three?
Having a little dance. Halo's going to launch best. Halo's going to review best. Call of Duty is going to make the most money year one. Halo is going to make the most money 10 years because it's the only one of them
that's
that's
the
not being
right
replaced
answer.
a year later.
That is a great answer.
That's the right answer. What?
Battlefield
Finally.
will launch a mess, but it will find a following and be reasonably successful. So the players win. Sorry.
This is why I love Asa. This is why you got crazy Gaz, and then you have smart, normal.
That's
Logical.
your answer. Why is Asa cooler than me? It's because he's right and he's intelligent. Intelligence is now cool. Hungry Chenny, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. Halo will actually be more accessible, he says, as COD is PC, PS, and Xbox. Halo is cloud, PC, and Xbox. Okay, who the flip is going to play on cloud? No, but maybe. But for multiplayer, seriously, that's where the source is. And multiplayer is the free bit. I don't know. Shout out. Oh, saucy. Shout out to Blaze 4K $10 super chat. It says, my girl, Erica. Why did you shout out your boy Colt Eastwood?
We already said hi earlier. Hey, Blaze.
You did? Blaze. Oh, I have to bring this up. I'm such a dick, but I have to bring it.
Oh,
Blaze
it's all in good fun.
Nah, look, I like Blaze. And in fact, I've scheduled Blaze to come onto our show. And awesome. Blaze brought up your game history. And we joined his spaces. Twitter spaces are such a cesspit. And Blaze, I don't know who your friend was, but anyway, the guy just screams to make a point, and then he shot himself in the foot somehow. But he brought up your game history. You only have 17 games of Halo Infinite flighting. And I came to defend your honor because there's more context to that. Can you please give me some retalk? Just address that point. I think you should address that point. Big team battles, limited flighting on a weekend.
Yes.
And we played as much as we could until they stopped doing these.
Well, I mean, Blaze said he played like 50 matches, so he played like 5 times longer than I did. But I played 17 matches, which equates to a little over 4 hours of one mode, one map. With you, played with Dealers, Zocker, Grinnell, Fawns, like we all, and Underachiever, like we all played over and over the weekend. That was funny. I actually spent that weekend playing through the entirety of the Avengers content because I got hooked on it. So during the times when the Halo flighting wasn't open, when we weren't all on, I was doing that. But I mean, I played a ton of that flighting. I played the weekend before and the week before that because I've been in the entire flighting system. So he was just giving me crap, like in the moment.
He is. And I like that.
He was just kidding around, and he was like, "Is this you?" Because I said I was going to miss the flighting, because the thing about the flighting closing was it's done. That we don't get to touch Halo Infinite until it launches December 8th. So
do we not have any other flighting then?
There is more flighting.
Yeah, so it's Alex said that he was going to miss it, and I said, yeah, me too, and I put up a GIF of a picture he did with a Xbox tier. So Blaze is just giving me crap about, are you going to miss it? You only played 17 rounds of Big Team Battle. I definitely got plenty of Big Team Battle out of 17 rounds, because each match is like, 15 minutes? If there's no overtime or sudden death, which we got into a lot, while Gaz was like, ha-ha! with the Warthog and stuff.
Man.
Yeah, we had Zocker in there. It was great. So,
Blaze, you were right on one point. His KD's rubbish for a reason. Horrible. I was crying. I was crying in the team. I was such a tryhard.
Oh, we were doing we would do 2 or 3 matches, and I was at the bottom level of the team, and then the next match I'd be up at the top, and then I was just
it's
it was
hard.
Horrible.
The game. People are really good at Halo. They're really good at Halo.
You
really,
guaranteed the people. That's the cool thing about the flighting is the people that signed up to be insiders were like die-hard, like true Halo fans, and very often I would get in there against the best of the best, and you could tell because they were on point. They were on point for sure.
They were really good. They were really good. Because Xbox players are good plays on first-person shooters. I can't wait to have him and Big Cloud on. I love firing shots. Blaze can handle it. The guy is built for flames, and with the tutelage of Solid Rev, how can he not? Shab's inevitable. Thank you so much for the £5 super chat. But all PlayStation gamers have high-end PCs. Blaze, listen to this. Fight him. Fight Shabs right there. And they don't. Shabs, you're right. Dean Brown for the £5 super chat. He goes, for me, Halo seems to be landing in the middle sweet spot for Halo 2 and 3 fans like me. Halo 5 MP, which wasn't bad. Ironically, Halo feels fresh. And he hits the nail on the head there. It feels like Halo 3. It does feel fresh, doesn't it? It's a mix between 5 and 3. More 3. But it's so refined. It's like, how can they improve it more is what I'm thinking. That's a great question to have. Blaze says, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I got no problem with Colt. Cut it out. Blaze, I'm playing with you.
Shout out to Blaze.
It was just funny. I jumped in that Spaces. I've never been in those spaces, but I jumped in when you were arguing with one of his friends, and the guy was going crazy. Like he was yelling, he's got a little emotional. And Blaze is laid back. Blaze is laid back, calm, cool, collected, just kind of having the conversation and being mature about it. The other guy was not having a good day, and he told you. It's funny for the people who are watching who kind of know Gaz and I. The one guy was like, Gaz, do you even know Colt? Does he even know you? And you're like, yeah, we talk every day. Like you're one of my best friends. But it was just funny. I wanted to get in there and just say, like, come on, guys, like, seriously. Because Blaze replied back to me immediately. It was like, hey, man, I just thought it was a joke. You could take a joke. And we just kind of went from there. But, hey, out in these Twitter streets, you got to watch out. Because it's like Squid Game.
Watch out to people who watch Squid Game.
Don't know what that is yet.
Watch
you will,
it.
you will.
Watch
Yes,
it. You
maybe
will.
soon.
It's so good. It's so good. Kate Forever, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Do you think no campaign co-op will have an effect on review scores, since it's an essential experience for a lot of Halo fans? Not to say most Halo fans expect, but a lot do. My answer is definitely yes. What's your answer to that, Erica? Do you think no campaign co-op will hurt Halo?
If it's a really good campaign, it could be just a footnote. They might add at the end of the review, like, oh, it's such a shame we don't
Yeah.
have co-op, but it's still great for what it is. You know, if it's, as long as it's good, I think they could forgive it. But if it's a
Yeah.
bad campaign, then all that other stuff will pile in. Like, oh, and then on top of it, there's no co-op. And if I played with my friend, I would have enjoyed it better. You know, there's going to be a lot of talk like that, but we'll see. I mean, if that multiplayer could just hit and be really, really good, I think it'll do fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Pixelbit says, how is 2% a lot? Your maths is weird as well. Like, a lot more than 2% play. By your logic, they should scrap campaign completely, because only like 20% people completed Halo. But Halo 5's campaign is rubbish, and it was a terrible metric. And you talk, don't use Master Chief Collection. How many people played Halo C when it first came out, co-op campaign? Do you have the figures for that? It is a fundamental part of the game, and if it's not me saying it, it's the Joseph Staten has said it. Not my words, but Asa, do you think you'll dock points on lack of co-op for Halo on day one review scores?
Review scores are a funny, wide topic. They're not good. They're not.
Okay.
So I don't want to criticize people that are doing that. There's some value to a review score, right? It gives you an at-a-glance look. Is this a quality game? But unless you have a proper framework on how you're attributing points and what they're worth, you can't dock Halo for not having co-op and then say that it's fine for Death's Door and Battlefield and all of these other games to be missing the same features. You got to be consistent for it to be worth a damn. So will they dock points? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Nah. Okay. Fair enough. Cole, do you think it doesn't care? Because people like Pixelbit are really, really defensive over this point. Like, how dare you? And when the game scores reviews will go low, they'll point to, oh, the media's biased anyway. I feel like that's the thing. Oh no, we'll change the goalpost there, and that's what annoys me. But what do you think? Will that be docked? Lack of co-op.
I know people say things like you're meant to play the campaign alone and then go back and play it with friends, but that doesn't really work, because you could beat the campaign in 6 to 12 or 15 hours or whatever it could be. Who knows? That's a guess. But that doesn't matter. Like, if it takes me a week and a half or 2 weeks to beat the campaign, if I want to turn around and play co-op, I'm not doing that in December. I'm not doing that in January, February, March, April, May. Probably sometime in June. When they actually release campaign co-op. And by then,
3 months
people have moved
after,
on. They're still doing multiplayer. So maybe they looked at the numbers and said, like, maybe they agree with Pixelbit. Well, hardly anybody played the co-op, so that's one thing we can delay. But I don't know. I don't know if that's how they do things, because Forge, the numbers say Forge isn't popular. That's absolutely not true. Forge and co-op are a core part, like you said, that Joseph Staten said. They're a core part of the experience, and they're being left out. And as far as Erica saying that Halo Infinite has a really good potential to score really well, I feel like as a reviewer, it's okay to dock it some points for missing core features. Like not being able to play with your friends across the internet, or not be able to build and cultivate more multiplayer maps and modes into whatever they offer day one for multiplayer. So that was my complaint. Like, I think it's okay. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's okay to delay a year. Halo's already delayed a year, but I think it's okay to delay until the games are done. As long as the publisher is willing to foot the bill for the extra time and money. And Randall Thor's a fraud. I love Rand.
Shout out to Rand. Thank you for the $5 super, because maybe if I drop some dollars, Gaz will like me. It's never about the money, Rand. It's never about the money. But thank you for the super chat. And I don't hate you, but
Rand's
it's going to take a lot more than money.
I love Rand.
Rand's amazing.
Rand is a huggable bear when he does wake up.
Hey, Kyle Flanders says, no, Colt, you review what's there. Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I feel as a reviewer, like and I haven't reviewed a lot of games, only about 4 or 5 in my YouTube career, but I feel like if you're going to review Far Cry 6, do you dock it a few points for being derivative of itself and not giving the audience something more other than like a couple creative weapons, I think you can. Do you dock? I've got another game coming up that I'll be talking about at the beginning of the week, but I got that on the mind too. But I'm probably going to be, I will be reviewing Halo Infinite for sure. So like, do you dock it for missing core features? Like when you play a game co-op with friends, it is such a different type of fun than you can have by yourself.
100%.
And it really can, you miss out on a big thing. I think you can review a game for missing features that are normally there in the franchise.
Yeah.
Let me ask Erica real quick. I don't want to take over your show, Gaz. You're working really hard today.
Go for it.
And hit the like button, guys, because like these three are amazing. I love hanging out with these people. So, Erica, I want to ask you, like, do you think a reviewer is allowed to take off 5 or 10 points from Battlefield 2042 because there's not that campaign that maybe the reviewer always enjoyed spending that 6 or 8 hours playing through the different areas of the world and going through the story and hearing these soldiers' struggles? Like, is that allowed?
I would say yeah. If that reviewer, if that's important to them and that's what they traditionally reviewed before, and they give that, they add that in there, like, I'm used to playing the campaign. I look forward to these campaigns, and it's not here this time. They could definitely say that. Now, should it be the reason they dock off 2 points or something? I don't know. That's, I guess, debatable. But I think it's, if that's their experience. I don't review a lot of games on my channels, but when I do, it's about me and what's important to me. So if I personally don't care about the campaign for Battlefield, but if this was Gears or something else where they completely left something out, of course I'm talking about it. I'm saying this wasn't here at launch. This bothers me. And it would be more of a complete package with it there. Yeah. And they're entitled to that opinion. Yeah. I fully agree with that.
It depends on how well they substantiate that opinion. But that's a good question, Cole. Yeah. Isma, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He goes, I need to be honest, I've never had an Xbox before and always thought Halo was crap. And I don't know why, but this flight made me want to play a lot more. You're not the only one. We had, shout out to Wilmyhood from Gaming Beyond the Box. He does not play Halo, never. He played the Halo flighting and he couldn't have it. He had enough. He's like, he was hooked. By his own words,
we played with him that second flight.
Yeah.
And he was dominating the scoreboard, and we were having so much fun. And who was another one? Darsh Knight was new to Halo. He was freaking loving it. So you can't discount. We love Darsh. You can't discount how much of an impact this can make on veterans that love Halo, and then new people who just get won over by the magic that makes the franchise still around.
Yeah, absolutely. Carlos Alvarado with the $2 super chat. Thank you. He says Battlefield had no campaign. Why not launch Halo MP only? So this is the point that Halo 343 even considered it last year. My argument, though, is Battlefield actually legacy-wise didn't have a campaign. Battlefield 1, 2, 3 didn't have one. This is Halo's. Halo already has a tough time getting, even if it gets everything right, reviewers are going to measure it from a completely different metric. If it's MP only, it would tank it in terms of optics.
I fully expect.
I was going to say if I could say something on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm not interrupting you. No, really quick. That whole thing. What I would say is because Battlefield, it's different. Battlefield is not really popular for its campaign. It's the multiplayer that made it what it is today. It didn't even have campaign back in the older
when
ones
it started. No, it didn't.
So but Halo is freaking Halo. Master Chief. I mean, it's an icon for Xbox, and it's just completely different. Sorry, that's
and
all
it had co-op day one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was only going to say, I fully expect most reviewers will put out 2 reviews for Halo, saying that multiplayer and campaign are separate, and you can't argue because they are separate. Multiplayer is a free-to-play game, and Halo is a campaign that you need Game Pass for or you need to pay for. So I expect the campaign reviews will dock it some points for missing that feature, and rightly so. Right.
Yeah.
It is expected alongside the campaign things. The thing that I would say is because Halo is coming onto Game Pass, and because Microsoft are moving towards service, and because they expect even the single player, the campaign portion, is Halo Infinite. It's supposed to last for 10 years. It is a service game. So
Yeah.
I think, I know a lot of people disagree with this. You want to see it release at its best, even though it's on Game Pass, but it is made for Game Pass in that sense. Game Pass will keep it going for
Yeah.
it. And if you're playing it on Game Pass, your right to complain about the features is diminished, because that is how that game is being delivered to you. But they are selling that game in shops, on digital marketplaces as a download. And that's where it becomes a little bit more difficult to reconcile, especially when they come out publicly and say, we really believe in game preservation. We really believe in game preservation, but we're going to give you a disc that doesn't have all of the features of the game on.
Yeah.
But we really believe in preservation. If they really believe in preservation, they are delaying Halo Infinite, like you say. I don't want them to, but I know that you do. And if they are going to toe both of these lines, they should be delaying it and putting the whole game on the disc.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Like, for people who just can't get on the internet and download the updates. I mean, how do they do that?
There aren't a ton of people that can't get on the internet, let's be fair. But strictest terms, if you're talking game preservation, you have to cater for that.
That's...
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that a problem on other platforms that buy physical only, even on PlayStation? I don't know. I guess there aren't any PlayStation exclusives that are service-based where they start dropping free content over and over. Most of their content on PlayStation is paid expansions that are optional. But then you've got like Sea of Thieves, like continually drops free new amazing content, and then that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, you're not doing preservation, but you're doing all these really, pro-consumer things, but because of the digital age, it's not beneficial to people who live in Papua New Guinea out, in a hut somewhere.
I've already as well.
Internet, like, because I was talking to someone on social media about, fortunately, if you're talking on Twitter and YouTube to people, you get to talk to people from all over the planet. And I can't remember where this person was from. They might have been somewhere from India, but their internet is not even at the minimum standard to play xCloud. So they're like, internet is crap. Why should I buy into this? But the international standard says, or international average says, that all of those people should be able to at least play xCloud and get a good experience. But he's an outlier. He's in an area where he doesn't have internet. And so those things aren't available to everybody. And it's important to remember that all of us live in the UK or in North America and Australia, where things are pretty good for technology, but people all over the world, they want to experience everything gaming has to offer, and they're trying, and it's just not that simple.
Yeah, it isn't, and we should be grateful for those of us who have the benefit of those luxuries. Xbox Game, thank you so much for the $5. Oh, sorry.
No. Do you super chat? Go.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for the £5 super chat. Did reviews dock The Last of Us 2? I see this happen all the time. For missing its multiplayer mode. That was present in The Last of Us, spoken about by Naughty Dog prior to release. I actually was really against the whole notion because it wasn't like the multiplayer wasn't inconsequential. I thought the factions, but there was not factions, but was it factions? Was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever the multiplayer, it was really good, and I liked it. And the fact that wasn't there, I think. Why did Naughty Dog get away with that? I think it did there was a double standard there, and I got raked through the coals at the time talking about that. And but the strength of the single player cannot be denied. Yeah, so there's the counter there, but for me personally, I don't think it's enough. I think there should have been docked some points there, considerable points for that, because you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't say the multiplayer was good, and it was good, and then say, oh no, but it's all about the single player. Can't one or the other. Double standard.
I kind of disagree a little bit, because I just feel like I feel like it's a game by game case situation where it's like it's that thing again, like where it's known for the single player. Everybody loves Joel and Ellie, and that's what was making people cry and feel how they felt playing that first game. So going into this game, they forgave it. I will agree, Naughty Dog gets away with things. I agree with that. Like, it probably reviewed too high. I wasn't a big fan of the second one, but taking points off because there's no factions is not the same as taking points off for like a different game that values its multiplayer way more.
Surely has to depend on your perspective though, because a lot of people are big fans of the Master Chief. Halo campaigns are
Yeah.
every bit as popular. And that's like
That's
like,
what I'm
like I was
saying,
saying
yeah.
earlier, you don't have a consistent framework for reviews, so it kind of devalues the whole
It
thing
gets
if you're not going to
messy.
treat them all equally. But we know that they're
Yeah.
not treated equally. That's the way that it is. It's the way that it always has been, and no one can
Yeah.
come in and put in a framework. If they theoretically, if someone came in and said, "All right, this is a fair framework to review games," we'd see scores
Yeah.
plummet, and you'd be saying,
Yeah.
"All right, this really really good game here, this is a 4 out of 10 because it doesn't have these things that we're now saying that we value in this consistent framework."
Yeah.
So it's just not going to happen. People like to see these big numbers. They like to see their subjective reviews, and it does have some value. You can look at a big number and say that's a quality game that I should get. It just doesn't mean.
So, Asa, do you
can't take it
think?
to mean too much?
So you don't think that? I mean, I don't think so either. But you don't think that a Metacritic score would dive very much by these things that we're talking about that are missing, like campaign co-op and Forge missing. Like it can't really take off more than 5 or 10 out of 100 points, right?
You would.
Or
hope.
what is
So
your opinion?
Specific to Halo, I don't think it should be docked any points at all for missing Forge, because Forge is specific to the multiplayer, and the multiplayer lives and dies by service. So it's absolutely okay for Forge to come out later.
Agreed.
Oh, wow.
Co-op
I've never
is-
heard it that way.
Okay.
Co-op is a different kettle of fish, and people expect it to be there. And I don't think it's fair to dock. If the campaign is brilliant, subjectively, objectively, it's a brilliant campaign. I would like to see it be scored as such and not be penalised for missing a feature that most other games don't have. But that's not
Yeah.
reality. That's
They
not
don't.
how it will
It's
be
true.
received. So-
I disagree there. I agree if the campaign is so good that it can tolerate the lack of the feature, fine. But I think Halo deserves to have points docked, especially Infinite, for lack of co-op, especially because of the direction they're going with the semi-open world Halo, which is everything is screaming, in my opinion, for what they've showed for co-op. It's like it's screaming for it. It's like this more than any other Halo game is almost designed for co-op, or it would facilitate that. And that compounded with the fact that the legacy feature of Halo is missing, a fundamental feature, not my words, the Joseph State, and if you want to come at me, then it deserves. On the face of it, it deserves to get points docked on it.
But then you're saying...
But
then you're saying, I'm going to interrupt, because then you're saying this game could, you can't objectively measure a game. I appreciate that, but in theory, you're saying Halo could release. It could potentially be objectively and subjectively the best game ever, and you don't think it should have the
then
best
it's
score
fine.
ever. No, it's not though, because it doesn't have
No.
co-op.
No, but that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It has a harder. So, on the face of it, it should get points docked. But if it does all of that, it has to work. It has to go the extra mile to make that difference up. And I'm not close-minded to it. So now the challenge is even harder. But if Halo delivers the best campaign ever, that co-op point, of course I'm going to be open-minded and say, right, that hurts, but that's completely diluted by the sheer value or sheer quality, of that campaign experience.
Hypothetical again.
And
Let's
that's
say it came out and the campaign was hypothetical. You can objectively measure how good a campaign is. It's exactly as good as The Last of Us Part 2. Should it score higher or lower than The Last of Us Part 2? It's exactly as good.
Is this with the multiplayer thing or just
Ignore
the campaign
multiplayer.
alone?
The campaign is exactly as good as The Last of Us Part 2.
100%. 100%.
What? It should score lower?
No, we shouldn't score lower. It shouldn't score. If it's just as good, to put it another way, if it's better than Halo CE's campaign, this is the Zeta Halo, the Halo game campaign I wanted. Why? Then it's the campaigns reviews are dynamic. I'm not gonna in the stick hypothetical. It deserves to score higher potentially. I'm not on close-minded to this hard rule, but based on what we know about the game and the importance of co-op, in my opinion, from what I perceive this Halo Infinite is about, then it's less. Or just to add further complexity to it and a bit more nuance, I think Halo Infinite can be forgiven for having lack of co-op day one, depending on how they deal with the 10-year game as a service thing, because they can potentially, this is what they're saying, is facilitate the campaign for 10 years. Depending on how they end the game, make it some, not Destiny fetch quest stuff, but proper, like, long, fleshed out story for a decade, then all I'm missing is a co-op experience at launch. And there's a whole co-op experience waiting to be had for 10 years. And that is why it's more complex. So it's very hard to have a hard rule. Generally, yes, dock points, but there's a lot more moving parts, and it's subjective. And I understand your hypothetical objectivity, and I'm not, people should not misconstrue what I'm saying. I wish, and I think Halo has a chance to do that, to be so good in its campaign that the lack of co-op as an option is diluted in terms of its harm. And I'm praying for that.
It's also not reliant on co-op as far as like 5 had these characters that were with you. You know, how many times have we played a game where you're like, why isn't this co-op? You've got somebody with you the entire time, helping you, lifting you up over onto a building, and like there's no co-op. You're not allowed to play as a second character or as a 3 characters. And like Halo 5 had, you know, the blue team and the whatever. That such a bad campaign anyway.
Oh, God. Can't believe they introduced blue team so badly. But anyway, there's a
so if you play Halo Infinite, you're supposed to be Master Chief out on the Zeta Ring. So if you play in co-op this following summer, I think you're going to have a second Master Chief with you, and maybe the second player will get to choose. Or maybe both, you get to choose what your armor looks like in co-op. Maybe not. Maybe you'll just have another Master Chief with you, which they've done before, which is kind of weird. You go into a cutscene, there's only one Master Chief. So it's like,
it didn't take that away. People say that there's someone's the chief and the chiefettes, but Halo 1 had that. It was the best experience I've had. And
it's not story or aesthetically dependent on campaign or on co-op. So they feel like they can delay it, which I don't like that they delayed it. But if it was this thing where you're supposed to go through with Master Chief and his team, and all of a sudden only the AI can control the character that's with you and on the battlefield with you all throughout, that would suck. I think they know you're lone wolfing it through the game, through most of it, like you did in 1 and 3.
Yeah.
And so that kind of helps. So the immersion isn't broken, I suppose.
Yeah, and
so
that's the point a lot of people make.
More than a few points out of 100. I don't think any developer or any reviewer, even though, like Erica said, I'm with Erica. If it's your review, if it's, you know, so-and-so's review, it's their opinion. They can do whatever they want. But I just don't think any professional, outside of a couple that Gaz doesn't like, I don't think any professionals would dock it more than 5 points out of 100 for not having campaign co-op.
Someone will dock it 10 because they've got the excuse to do it. But no, I agree with you.
That could really hurt a score.
Yeah. No, I agree with... Sorry. Go ahead, finish.
No, go ahead. No,
I was just going to say I agree with you as far as, like, you brought up games that sometimes they're just begging for co-op and it's not there. Like, The Order 1886 came into my head. I'm like, this needs co-op because you're with, like, a party, right? And you're going through... So if Halo is going to be this lone wolf experience and you feel like I'm Master Chief and this is it and it's beautiful, it's amazing. The trick for Halo and 343 is to make people forget you want co-op. If they can do that, if they can get somebody who really loves co-op to forget, they'll be fine. But that's
like it's like the Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it's coming down to the reviewer. But if they can make it like Breath of the Wild and you're sucked in the world, then that's amazing.
Yeah, like if it feels like I'm good by myself, I don't even think about co-op no more.
Yeah.
And that reviewer will probably give it a good score. So it's just going to depend on each reviewer, of course. I mean, that's obvious.
Absolutely. And I'm praying Halo does that to me. And I don't want to be thinking, oh man, this would be good at co-op all the time. Alvin, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Unpopular opinion, campaign should have always been solo, like Doom, Half-Life, Wolfenstein, other FPS games that have central protagonists. No, I can't retrospectively go ahead and say, oh, shouldn't have had co-op, because that's one of the best things at the time when Xbox came out. People like my little brother sitting the back of the Warthog on the turret is why I wanted to play it. I'm like, you can do that. So no, Halo set the bar high. It's the reason why it's attained that lofty standards, why we talk about it ad nauseum every show, because it commands that respect because it pushed the bar. So that's why Halo deserves so much as well. And I pray that 343 smash it. Gamer Boy Choice, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Shouldn't a review score review the material there? You are docking something for something that's not there. That, to me, that is not fair for the game. We should judge on what is there. I don't think you can ignore the legacy of a title, and especially when you've got a decade or nearly 2-decade long legacy, you can't just completely shut that out and say, let's just review it on what it's there. If that's even possible to do, yeah, like, but there's a question. I mean, there's nuance there, I'm sure. Asa with the, I'm sorry, Blaze with the $2 super chat. This super chat goes, Ace and Gas, have you seen any vegetation yet? Colt, you're gonna love this. When we were on BitCloud's show, he goes, Xbox guys, you guys have all these brown games. You're not used to seeing vegetation in games, because we were making fun of the third forest simulator. So
I remember that. I saw that.
Yeah, Blaze is coming with the fire. I haven't seen any vegetation apart from Battlefield, but that kept clipping and disappearing as well.
Any vegetation on what? Xbox games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know who kills it is Gears Hivebusters.
Oh, he
Like
mentioned that, and he rips that. Blaze, what do you have to say to that?
Well, I mean, I'm totally fair. Like, when I played Gears Hivebusters, I'm like, finally! Finally a PlayStation, like, visually stunning, like, representation of greenery. Of course, Gears 5 did it in 2019. That whole first level looks like it's out of Uncharted or Tomb Raider. It looks amazing. Xbox... I'm trying to think of some of the games they've had. This freaking end of the world stuff all the time. And then we got Joanna Dark in dusty Egypt, or whatever she's doing. So
the funny thing is, Gears, notorious for its browns and like grays, and that's the example we only have of vegetation.
It's pretty interesting.
I mean, Forza Horizon is like the best environmental rendering of any game ever. It's like way up there at the top. So they've been doing that for almost a decade.
And Blaze, I'll repeat what I said on your show. Forza Horizon on Gran Turismo 7. But yeah.
Is that a real photo? Oh, that's the game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the game. The final, the penultimate topic, then we'll quickly go into the last one. But this one is very interesting. This could be a game changer, a U-turn possibly from Sony and PlayStation. Good old Jim Ryan is back on the headlines, and he has said, I would love a world where hundreds of millions enjoy our games. He's talking about, this week, for people who don't know, Jim Ryan was being very kumbaya, very uncharacteristic in how he was being vague, but not vague at the same time. What he was suggesting was that, and I can read the whole... Okay, let me read the quote. So, this is what he says. We're talking about games stacking up against music. We're talking about games stacking up against movies. Music and movies can be enjoyed almost by limitless audiences. And I think some of the art in our studios, making some of the finest entertainment, has been made anywhere in the world to kind of gate the audience of that art, blah, 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 to 20 or 30 million people. He's talking about the console. Frustrates me. I would love to see a world where hundreds of millions of people can enjoy those games. He's thinking outside the box being PlayStation. Colt, what is he alluding to there? What is Jim Ryan? No, I don't say that. The Jim Ryan. Sorry, Jim. Jim. No offense, but what is he alluding to there, Colt?
He's simply alluding to that he wants to do what Xbox is doing. He wants to put their games on more places than one piece of plastic. People ask me, does this have to do with the cloud? Like, is this with the Microsoft and the Azure thing? Yes, and yes. Jim Ryan knows that PlayStation Studios make some of the best games in the world, and he knows that they can only reach a cap of about 20 or 25 million people per game. I think their games routinely sell around 5 to 20, maybe a little over 20 million, which is really good, but you're looking at 5 to 15% of the console consumer base, and he knows, and I'll give credit where credit's due, like I always have for years, that PlayStation's games are so great that more people than just someone on a PlayStation should be able to play them. He also knows that PlayStation is having a hard time getting PS5s to the world. It's very difficult. Those games deserve to... What is that?
What is that?
What I missed?
I want that to happen. Gaz and I, in real life...
No.
With the
We're
kitty
not doing
and the
funny
tail. And you're wearing the pink ones. I got the green ones. Okay. I don't even know where I was. But he wants those games on PC. He wants them on mobile devices. He wants them on smart TVs with a DualSense 5. He wants those games to go to more people because he wants to make more money. And that's the obvious one that Xbox fans can say, ha-ha! Right? But the other one is, those games are great. They deserve a massive audience. Gaming is getting so big, you can no longer constrain it to one console. It's a ridiculous notion. Jim Ryan's been telling you this since 2018 before he took Sean Layden and pushed him out and took over. He was trying to tell you that. Even Sean Layden was saying, his quote was, gaming is not a walled garden. And he says something else to the effect of that there are more places to play than one place. And Sony and PlayStation have been trying to warm their fans up like a pot on the stove, slowly boil up and get them ready for the idea that yes, you can own a PS5. Yes, those games are special to you in the ecosystem. And yes, PC players are going to love playing first-party games from PlayStation Studios.
Sorry, I faded out when I saw Clayton Bigsby in the chat says, I'm blind, so it doesn't really apply to me anyway. I can play the game co-op, but it would have been fun. Clayton Bigsby, for people who know Dave Chappelle's skit. Erica, what's your thought on PlayStation?
Hold on. But Face 23, like, he's got the weirdest takes. He always like pushes like words like brag and celebrate. Like, why wouldn't you celebrate that Jim Ryan wants to bring their games to a bigger audience, push more money into the studios, make even more games? This is why you're seeing acquisitions. Jim knows that they can buy as many studios as they want right now because they are expanding PlayStation beyond that teeny tiny little PS, whatever the number it's going to be. This is super important, and I don't need to brag about it. I'll never play a PlayStation game on PC. I'll play it on my PS5. There's nothing to brag about other than thank you for welcoming yourself to the 2015s and beyond. Like, this is something that Epic Game Store wanted to get in. Like, everybody wants a piece of the gaming pie. It's a big thing. PlayStation can no longer sit huddled underneath that little plastic shell that looks like a Miami Vice character with a white jacket with a pop collar. They have to move beyond the console. And if you're still stuck in 2016 before Quantum Break went to PC, I don't know where in the heck you have been. Rub your eyes a little bit. Like, gaming is so big, it has to move to mobile screens, tablets, and smart TVs. Think about this. And I want to give the floor to Erica because I could talk forever because I'm a moron. I don't have my controller here.
No, passionate. It was passionate.
It's going in right now.
Turtle Beach Recon controller. Just think about grabbing your favorite controller, syncing it to your TV, and loading up games on Wi-Fi. And think about in a few years when you just forget you're not plugged into a console because the games feel pretty dang good, and we're not that far away.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Imagine like in movies. Imagine cinema. You can't watch this movie unless you have this DVD player. It's that kind of thing. Like, it doesn't make sense. But Erica,
they would die in sales,
Yeah.
Times are changing. I'll speak on what Cole is saying right now, but I had 2 words for that. My response was going to be 2 words only.
What's that?
Whole slate.
Whole slate.
Whole slate.
Yes.
He
Tell
said that
what
before.
That was.
It was a quote from before from Jim Ryan, where he wants to bring a whole slate of PS5 or PlayStation games to PC. He's been, the writing's been on the wall, and like what Cole is saying, like, yeah, now he caught up. They're catching up because times are changing. Like, Microsoft knows that a lot of money can be made. I don't know if you guys I caught wind of how much money Apple has made off of gaming, and it's wild, the kind of money that they're making from phones and stuff like that, and apps. And why wouldn't they want a piece of that pie? I mean, business-wise, like, if we're thinking in a business way, why wouldn't they? It just makes complete sense. And if you're just so loyal to like a box, that you're upset because people can play it on PC. It's just like you got to accept it because it's not gonna. It's changing. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you'll be okay. I remember talking about this on my channel like in 2017 or something.
Oh yeah.
Where I said that I felt Microsoft was trying to compete with Steam. That's what I said back then, because I saw the writing on the wall is like they want to be everywhere. And then since then it's just been kind of gradually. And every time Phil Spencer would say something that was like clearly what they want to do, oh my gosh, Phil Spencer wants to go to PC and I can't believe this. And I'm just like, you guys, like it's common sense. So now PlayStation, it's happening with them now. See, and all the Xbox people have accepted it. It's like, okay, this is what it is. Now it's PlayStation turn. It's their turn now. So
your
that's
example
kind
is
of
super interesting. I'm really glad you mentioned Apple as the example. Because Apple, if you didn't see the news, they make more from gaming than Xbox do, than PlayStation do, than pretty much anyone does. Apple make a ton of money. And you have to consider Apple aren't making games and releasing them on loads of platforms. Apple, as this like shining beacon of making money, are doing so by having a platform and taking money from other people that are making games. And you have to remember that that's important as well. So when you look at like, when you look at what Sony are doing going forwards and like what Microsoft are doing, bringing their games everywhere, what Sony are doing, are they bringing their games everywhere? Yes, but are they going to follow the strategy that Microsoft are doing, or are they going to follow the strategy of Apple and try and keep the PlayStation as the pinnacle of it so that they can make that big money that Apple are making? Because Apple aren't making it by spreading things wide. Apple are making it by having a platform with like getting people onto their platform, which has always been the traditional console model. Get people into the ecosystem, take that third-party money. Don't discount it as important to them. Like don't go day and date for Sony straight away, because there is big money in owning and controlling a platform, and that's still true.
And I think it's really weird when people say, it's okay. It's going to be okay. They're not going to do day and date. They'll wait a while. They'll wait till the games are a year or two old or 3 years old. It's okay. Like, why are you hoping? Why do you hope that PlayStation doesn't do day and date? How does it like this mentality of this game is special to me because it's only on this one location? Like, it's so obnoxious. Like everyone's a lot of people playing this New World MMO or this RPG it's an MMORPG, right? From Amazon, but anyone with a browser can play it on PC, right? Yeah. Anybody can play it. Like you just have to buy it from Amazon. And it is such an archaic thing. And it's only relegated, like you said, Gaz, it's only relegated to consoles. It's so obnoxious. Like, I've been listening to music on tape and CD my whole life until I moved to digital, and now my music is everywhere. It's on my phone. I can grab it on my phone, on my Xbox, on my TV, on my computer, on a browser. My music that I bought is everywhere I want it to go. And Phil said, like, 4 years ago, like, I feel like games should be able to go where you want them to go, as long as you bought them. Like Phil should just say, look, you just buy the games from us, we'll make sure you can access them as many places as you want. And I think that's such a celebration. But to sit there and hope and pray, like you do, guys, like with the tongue out, right? To hope and pray that Jim Ryan doesn't take your games away from your PlayStation. I don't want someone to play it on a browser or play it on a PC, because then I don't feel special. You were never special. You were never special. I was special. Just buy the games from them. You're still in the ecosystem. You're still using PlayStation online. You're still using that account. You're still gaining trophies. You're in the ecosystem.
But why, Face, thank you so much for the $20 super chat, because why is this news? Are you really taking what Jim Ryan says to heart? Yes, PlayStation will put their games on PC, but not day one for a long time. Yeah, Colt, my box is secure. That's the best box.
Sounds wild.
Blaze only 10% can play. It's like
Blaze's super chat's hilarious.
I'm going to get to that. Derek, why doesn't Nintendo bring games to PC if it's smart business for Sony and Xbox to do? Derek, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Asa hit the nail on the head there about that. Exactly how it works for Apple. And Apple makes more money than PlayStation and Nintendo. So there is value in exclusivity. It depends on the platform. Blaze, what has he said? $2 super chat. Thank you so much. He goes, Jim Ryan got bit by a clicker years ago. Hey, man.
It's too funny.
Hey, even Blaze is hitting. You must not like Jim Ryan. I think that's unanimous. Like, He's a business guy. He's probably, those moves will secure. In fact, Colt is his biggest fan. Oh, RG Viper X, I forgot super chat. I'm sorry. I'm scrolling. I'm sorry. RG, can you just paste it there? Sorry, I apologize.
It's
Oh my
about
God,
you
Colt
and Cole.
Gaz at a furry convention. I think hell has frozen over. Time for the apocalypse. You know what it's
That's why I missed the super chat, because it was selective amnesia there.
Oh, here's a reminder. There you go.
Oh,
You know what?
damn
we're
it,
gonna do,
RG
Gaz?
Viper.
Gaz, we're gonna do that. We are
No,
going
we're
to
not.
find.
We are not
no,
doing that.
No,
We're not.
If we ever
I
get
do a
together
lot of
at
things.
E3 or whatever,
I'm not dressing.
We will recreate
No.
that photo.
No,
and
we're
you will-
not.
No, I will grab you by the back of the neck and I will
as you told,
squeeze
Gaz.
until you
Okay.
do it.
I can put myself in a straitjacket. I can eat sauces until my anus
He's
burns.
lying.
I can
He'll
do
do it.
all sorts of stuff. I'm not putting on furry costume.
Erica, will he do it?
I draw a
He
line
will,
at
he will.
furries. Oh, Lord.
Maybe if we ask
Damn it,
him
RG Viper.
over and over. I'm gonna hit you up, guys. Like, you gotta do this. Do this for me.
No. Who made that? Who made that Photoshop? They deserve death. Who made that?
I don't make that.
man.
It's, you know,
I love-
it's a
damn it,
curse.
I
If
love-
anyone requests anything on Photoshop, which Wandering Dutch did today, it gets me.
Damn it, Dutch. Oh, damn.
Toolman says, is the
Any-
photo on Twitter already?
I'm sure
Be
it is.
arranged.
No, please. Final topic, ladies and gents. We've gone past the 2-hour mark. Final one. Big one, actually. Twitch got hacked rawly. I mean, rawly. Like, to the point where the news broke, like, that can't be right. They basically, creator earnings got exposed. Passwords got exposed. They came out and admitted, yo, it's happened. We are resetting your stream keys. Shit's crazy. And I won't divulge the numbers like I originally intended to, because Ace is like, have some class, guys. Do not mention the earnings of these Twitch streamers. But damn, these guys are making money.
But by all means, you just don't need to like tie them to names. So there's like, I think the
could-
highest
Oh,
one
yeah.
on there
You
was like
could mention mine if you
$750,000. What's yours?
I'm just kidding.
That's what Asa was saying. It's
Mine's
like,
in there somewhere. You can say it. You have to scroll for a while, but you know.
I knew your name was Shroud.
Shroud.
But yeah, they're making some bank, which one is pretty crazy. Two, I saw one very vocal, angry, salty, jealous contingent of people who got really annoyed at how dare they make something. And you know what? Not many people, many things piss me off, but that pissed me off. That people will get so jealous or so salty. Shouldn't you be saying, well done. You don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. They're making money. That's the grind. That's the hustle. That should be motivation for you to do well. Why can't people be happy for other people? Huh, Erica? Why can't they be like that? Or are you in that camp? Actually, sorry, I should be clear. If you have opposing views, you're not going to face my wrath.
You're asking if I'm a jealous hater looking at these numbers. No,
I'm such an idiot. Sorry.
No, you're completely right. Like it's a hustle and hate the game, not the player. And it just, if anything, it motivates me. I see that. It's crazy to think to ever get that big, but if I could get some of that pie, I mean, that's motivating to me. I stream on Twitch, I do my grind over there, and these guys are doing it full time. They're making sacrifices. It's not easy. It is not easy to stream. So I could just imagine being full-time, having that pressure, having that influence where you say anything even the least bit wrong, you're possibly canceled. There's stresses there. There's things going on that they go through, and sometimes it's deserved, let's be real. But I mean, as far as like their influence and what they've built, they for the most part deserve what they have built. And
naked bathtub streams of gas coming up. No, but
that's
even
a whole other topic. But I mean, it's a hustle. You can make that case for anything. I know there's people who say that about sports athletes. Oh, they just throw a football around and they get all these millions of dollars. It's like, well, they're not the ones to blame. You should be blaming the owners or blaming the system. But it's all jealousy. It's all, money, and they want that money. But then it's like, okay, well, if it's so easy, do it.
Do it.
That's what I say. Yeah.
Cole,
not-
what do you think? That's quite definitive statement right there. Erica, thank God she agreed with me. My God, I was just like, anyone who disagrees is an idiot. I get angry at this topic, and then there could have been a dissenting opinion. Cole, do you agree? And you're free. You're free to shit on my chest if you disagree.
Yes.
Damn.
This is such a touchy subject because I work around a lot of content creators like you and Asa and on YouTube, and then Erica does this stuff on Twitch. I am best friends with people like Dealer and Zocker and you and Fonz and Rand that like we create content every week and we talk about the struggle of creating stuff that people want to watch and that will do well. And when I saw some of these numbers, I thought you kind of get an idea of how many people follow these people. I'm like, they make like 100 times more per subscriber than somebody on YouTube. It seems like, as far as money, like if they have 5 subscribers and I have 5 subscribers, they're making 100 times more dollars per subscriber. It's crazy. And of course, my first reaction is like, why do they make so much money?
Yeah.
But yeah. It's crazy. That's how big gaming is, that Twitch just pays out so much money and they get so many people watching for so much longer than my YouTube videos are 10 or 12 minutes, and somebody's a streamer, they're on for an hour or two. And so they've got this engagement. Their audience is there for a long time. So there's like this potential to make a lot of money. But that stuff's already public knowledge anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the numbers were surprising. They were surprising to me. Like even, but I have to say, like, Asa, we've been doing this for a year. Like, even this 2-hour show, like, for people who watch it, it's draining. Like, it does take its toll. So to do that full time, Erica, the way you described it, it's pretty mad. What the flip is the super chat? RG Viper, you're coming for me today. Gaz in a hot tub playing Apex Legends would be amazing. Trying his best not to jump out the tub each time he dies. Amazon higher ups are watching. Hey man, that would be good. I might do that.
I'd sub for that. Why not?
Why not? Well, I'll be sick. My KD would still be better than Colt's. That's for
most
sure.
of your viewers.
Yes.
It's interesting though, Colt, what you're saying. Like you kind of looked at those numbers and you're like, wow, like how do they make that much money? Because you're thinking from your situation, you're doing these videos every day. Your 5 subs is $0 compared to like 5 subs on Twitch. But I could counter that and say, because I'm much smaller as a content creator than you, right? And it's all our perspective. I could say, well, I streamed for 4 hours last night, and you made more on one video than I did the whole night. You know, so it's kind of like, it's all perspective, and like everyone's in their own grind,
It's a terrible thing. Like Rand and I talk every day about trying to grow our channels and trying to be, do what we can do. And we say comparison is a thief of joy, an old saying. Like you can't compare yourself to other people. Like Shroud can go on and stream for 2 hours and make way more money than a video I spent 6 hours building. So it's like these things don't really work. But I think it's best if you're on the outside as just a gaming fan and maybe you watch these people, like, why do they make so much money? But if you're a content creator who's trying to work and build their own thing, I think it's best to keep your head down, do what you do, make it the best you can, enjoy content creation. Because people always ask me, like, what do I do, Cole? Like, how do I get into it? What's your best advice? And I said, just get a $50 mic and just make sure people know you enjoy, that you love what you're doing. Yeah. That's why I talk about things on YouTube that I'm excited about. There's certain things I don't cover because I'm not interested in them. And I want people to feel the enthusiasm of a hobby that we love every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't have the enthusiasm, people will see straight through it. So these people, it's a battle of attrition. You can only fake it so much and then so much. To us, genuinely, obviously I'm mental, so I'm not exactly a good example of it, but well, I'm too excited about video games. But other people, like these Twitch streamers, you're right, Erica, they put they have their life on hold, and it's all on camera for long slogs, long hours, and they trip up a little bit, especially in this day and age where you can't say anything. Then you're guilty before you're proven innocent, and it's so hard. It's so hard. So the people watching who want like getting a following, it's not easy.
I think people like there's just such a misconception with viewers sometimes. If they don't make content, they just think, oh, you put on your camera and then you just gain followers just like that. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. Unless you're like the smallest 0.001% who just get lucky. The rest of everyone is grinding, you know, and working behind the scenes. There's a lot that goes into the content that they don't ever know about. So.
And there's unfair assumptions like, oh, you're a girl, so you're going to get way more subs. And as you know, like I've talked to a lot of people that are female content creators, or you have to be a certain type of person. They're all working their butts off just to get people to notice them.
Literally.
When you're in the space in Twitch or YouTube, like you're clawing to get people to actually, like I'm working my butt off to make you really great content. I'm just hoping someone will watch it. And
you just haven't got that booty, bro. You just ain't got that booty.
I think Colt missed your comment.
Yeah, I'm glad he did. I
I caught that.
I had to be you to catch that as well. That's bad. But I'm going to help.
I don't get offended by that stuff. It's funny to me because I know exactly what Colt's talking about. Like it's, you know, I've had that comment, or I've seen other women get that comment, like, oh, well, you're a girl, it's easy. It's like, no, because we have a different struggles. Like for example, we, like someone like me, I can only speak for myself. I want to be taken serious as a gamer. I'm not here to be like, look at me, I'm a girl, and that's it. No, I want you to
think beyond my caramel voice.
think beyond the voice and watch me and hang out. And to get that to happen, you gotta work for it. You know, I don't just show up and like, hey, I'm here, I'm a woman.
Do you think you get a leg up over male viewers because you are an attractive lady and that helps? Does you think that helps?
I think
that's a serious question. We've had a women in gaming stream, and that was very interesting.
I think what I've come to learn or think about is that I think for them to take interest, I might have a leg up because they'll be like, oh, there's this girl. Oh, she plays this game. Oh, let me check her out. And if they stay or not, it's up to them. And I've accepted that. That used to bother me. I used to be very like, they should be here for me.
For what? Like that would annoy the hell out of me.
And that's just not reality. I've come to accept, like, you know what? They might get their foot in the door because I am a woman, but hey, that's fine. I don't think that's
they're retaining them.
If I could retain it, that's my job to keep them there, and that's my struggle, I guess. It makes it fair. Yeah, I guess. But no, you could argue, we might have that first initial, like, oh, you might click a woman over a man because you want to see what she looks like, or you want to see what she's playing, or is she good? Is she a fake gamer? You know, there's always going to be those.
That must annoy you so much. The condescension.
I just play and I don't get too
prove
much
it.
of that. I prove
Your
it.
results prove it.
But like, I've totally accepted that. Like, that's a thing, and it doesn't bother me anymore. But
that's good.
You're right, guys.
Yeah.
Condensation can be a big problem. I also
I didn't say condensation.
I know you didn't. I was just bored because I hadn't got to talk. I stream all the time. I streamed 50 hours last month. I'm not on that list. I made like $7. Right? So it's pretty important when you look at that list to know that that's not representative of a typical Twitch streamer by any stretch. It's actually really, really difficult to get any traction on that platform whatsoever.
It's hard.
Typical advice is if you want to do that, you need to be making YouTube content as well, or you've got no hope. There's no discoverability on Twitch. So if you're starting out now thinking I can make $750,000 a month, it's less than 0.01%. Like it's an impossible challenge to get there. You need to bring people from elsewhere. So it's a really, really difficult thing to do. It is draining to stream all the time. It really is. And it's not. So they had on Twitter, you had Cliff Blazinski, so Gears of War creator and various other games, like legend of game design, was saying like, hang on about, this isn't fair. Why are like content creators and streamers making more money than game developers? Fortunately, some people did step in underneath and say, wait, they're not. Like this is not an average content creator kind of wage, right? This is a few people that have got some very lucrative contracts. Yeah. And
Bad tech.
It's
there,
not
Cliff.
what streaming is.
Yeah.
It really isn't what streaming is for the vast majority.
I want to give. I want to take a second since we're talking about this. I saw a comment. I won't highlight it because it's pretty obnoxious. Like not a very good take, but I've been doing this content creation like in a serious way for like 4 years, and someone said that I couldn't grow my channel. I wouldn't be able to grow my channel if I stuck to one platform, like talking about Xbox. And now, me as someone who I have like years of experience in graphic design and music experience, like I've done all these different things and tried to do things that I could be the best at. And I've learned over the years that when you capitalize on something that you're very good at and that you know that people enjoy, that's how you grow something. When you find something that someone likes, and if you do it well, you hone in on that and you do that the best you can do. Like with Gaz, he has these sauce videos that really hit with the community and they really enjoy them, and he gets a lot of feedback and a lot more comments about the stuff he does. So we always talk about you need to do more of that charismatic character in your videos because people they satiate for that. And for me, I've grown like some 40,000 subs per year. I talked to Dealer about this as well. Dealer and I are, and Rand and Zocker, we are like Xbox only, and we've grown our channels really well. Now, could we be at 2 million if we talked about PlayStation? Maybe even if I did a PlayStation only channel, maybe I could be 10 times bigger. I don't want to be. I want to make my content that I am passionate about, that I'm knowledgeable about, that I enjoy. I talk about PlayStation as well. I have PlayStation videos that don't do as well because my audience is here for Xbox news. That's what they're hungry for. And I've capitalized on that. And I've been able to find a lot of success. And I've been able to reach out to people at Xbox because of it. So I think it's very important. Don't let people gatekeep what you do. Don't let them tell you how to stream. Don't let them tell you what content you should be doing. Find what you do that does well. If you start out making YouTube videos, I'm telling this to all the people in the chat who may be thinking about, I'd like to make videos once in a while. If you make a couple of videos and one of them does better than the other ones, look at what you did and capitalize on that. That's what people enjoy. Find out what they like and do your best at it. It's super important.
And make sure you enjoy it as well. Don't just chase the numbers. If you don't enjoy it, it's gonna fizzle away. Which is why anyone who's a fan of the source, believe me, if you want it, I want it 10 times more than you.
That's true.
You have no idea. I sleep, eat, shit the source, and I believe it. It's in my nucleus. Wandering Dutch, I missed your super chat. He goes, some men want to watch the world burn, and he's smirking. Thank you for that super chat. Is he referring to the furry thing? Was he the catalyst in the creation of that? He was, wasn't he?
I think he just got that on the brain.
I'm gonna get my revenge there, Dutch. I'm gonna get my revenge. HRK $10. No, that's not your name. Games Lord. Thank you for the HRK 10. Talked about Dread yet? You missed it. It was right at the start of the show. About time a 2D game wins Game of the Year. It is a Game of the Year contender for good reason. Amazing game. I've just started it. We talked about it. When you do catch up on it, you'll hear our thoughts on it. But yeah, no, honestly, it's great takes. It's very mature. Shout out to all of the 200 people watching. I know we're wrapping up the show now, and that's the thing. Like for content creators, there's more to it than you imagine. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But please go for it if you want to do it. This is what GameOnDaily is about. Like pushing content creators. We believe in it. Honestly, we believe in it. If we didn't believe in it, we wouldn't be here a year on pouring it on new user interface and all that. Any money you donate goes back into it and then more. My source video probably costs more than all the super chats in 3 weeks. You'd have no idea. We'll pour it back.
So much on props, man. You really
I have so many props. Orders. You should see my Amazon deliveries coming in. There's so much. And for source fans, there's so much diversity coming in. We're filming tomorrow. There's a lot coming. But yeah, these ladies and gentlemen in the panel, they have passion. So do you. So please, if you want to do that, go for it. Don't just chase numbers. But But yeah, it's been an amazing chat. It has been incredible show, man. There's such diversity in opinions in the chat. Dissenting opinions face. I understand you have dissenting opinions. Great. Pixel Bit, I will find out where you live. Everyone, it's been a great show. It's been a great show. I'd like to order some merch. Thank you. It's GameOnDaily.store. And we have a lot more planned there as well. Please check it out. Isla is there with the rocket fingers. But before we say goodbye, I want to just outro time. Ericuts for the win. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm trying to match your cadence.
What a weirdo.
Caramel. It's like a M&S advert. Hi, Erica. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Thank you so much.
I feel like it gets more creepy as it goes.
It does. I'm like Mr. Salad Fingers. But
Salad Fingers.
Have you not seen that cartoon?
Great show. The time flew. I just looked at the clock like 10 minutes ago. I'm like, oh my gosh.
2.5.
We went in today. Always great to even talk about content. Like Colt, the things you said, like I totally agree. Like it's the passion that we have and all the work that we do is just it's crazy, and a lot of people don't understand, and it's good for us, I think, to talk about that from time to time. I always enjoy hearing, especially from different creators, you know. But I had a great time. I'm Ericuts for the win. You guys can find me anywhere by that name. I actually just launched merch of my own.
I was gonna mention that. That's some dank looking stuff.
If you're into
Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's very inspired by Elden Ring. So I think the link, it should be pinned on my Twitter. So if you go to my Twitter, it's there. You can check it out. But yeah, I had a great time. I have to actually do my own podcast in like 2 hours. So I'm going to have to like go and get some sauce between. I don't know.
I'll get the sauce delivered.
Yeah, just send me some of that. I need to be on your energy level. But no, I had a great time as always. You guys are great. Cole, it's good seeing you again as well.
Thank you.
I'll see everybody later.
Yeah, absolutely. And the link is in the chat. Isla has, with her laser precision, put Erica's stuff in there. So please check her out. Erica's stuff is great.
Thank you.
And she will destroy you at games. Have you seen her play Gears? Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about all that, but thank you.
Way better than me.
That's true.
We have the soul shirts and hoodies, Sappho. It's on GameOnDaily.store. And the caps. Teespring messed up the design. I wanted to redo it. I pulled it back. But you can buy the hoodies and shirts on GameOnDaily.store. Last but certainly not least, it's Colt Eastwood. That's it. The man who has grown tremendously. Not physically, but in terms of his... well, he has in the waist area. Yes! Hey, I'm playing. But COVID has done it to all of us. Look at me.
No matter which way you went, that could have been a really horrible, inappropriate joke.
No, that is not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
So you weren't talking about my gut. Okay, got it.
No, it's kind of awkward.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Gold! That doesn't work. Doesn't work like that.
You gotta use your diaphragm. Yeah.
Oh, man. Where can people find you? What's in store for the... well, actually, I know. But what's in store for your followers?
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah. It's super busy week. Thank you for having me on Game On Live. Go live on Game On Daily. I love this show. You guys are great friends. And it's good to be here with Erica. So she was on my show like a month ago. So... this is all at home. What else? Yeah, I'm going to be on Fonz's show, Games Talk Live, tomorrow.
Shout out to Fonz Games Talk Live.
Nice. Yeah. My wife's like, wait, you're doing 2 podcasts, plus I'm working on a big video that I need to get out for Monday, and then I have my show Monday night. So,
damn.
Yeah. No rest for the Xbox fans, right? It's been a very busy holiday. We got so many games to play, so thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. It's an absolute pleasure. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you. Please smash that like button on your way out. You're looking sexy. Speaking of sexy, Acer, tell people they can find you.
Thank you, guys. A lot of people say to me that I don't actually speak that much on our own show, and it's true. I'm a bit quieter here. I'm running things in the background, but I do stream every day that I'm not here. and I do talk quite a lot. So come and chat to me anytime on my Twitch channel, which I link there. And yeah, it's every Saturday. It's enjoyable. We get such good guests and such good chat. Someone said earlier, I saw someone say, "Whoa, there's been people saying stuff against women in our chat." No, there hasn't. Our chat's really good. So it's an enjoyable place every week. So thanks everyone for contributing to that. And yeah, I'll be on Twitch and I'll be here next week and I'll be on GameOnDaily, of course.
Absolutely. So please do check us out after the fact on Spotify, Apple, Google, all that stuff. Leave your comments if you like the user interface or the interface. Let us know. We have a lot more coming. A lot more. So thank you. Please hit that subscribe button and peace. See you until next time. Booyaka.